Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand finale of a challenging year full of events along the Space of Innovation highway, resulting in our Space Day today. My name is Ines Kühnert, and as head of Galileo and Copernicus competitions at AZO, I will be your host for today's session, the SpacePitches now, and later on, the Space Awards. The day is dedicated to the two global innovation competitions, the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters. Both competitions are on the hunt for outstanding solutions using EU space data or signals from the Galileo, EGNOS and Copernicus programs. Since the initiation of both competitions 10 and 17 years ago, they have grown in numbers immensely, and we are now proud to take you on a journey through our regional and country partner network that supports their winners with the help of the European Commission. Our vision, ever since we've started the competitions, has been to foster a European space economy deep into the regions and connect the world of space. Mostly known to the public just for rockets, launchers, Armageddon, and lately also space tourism with Earth. Space actually is much more than the just mentioned buzzwords. We at AZO connect the dots between satellite data and the end user out there, and actually provide evidence of a much broader benefit of space on Earth. Another goal is to support space-driven innovation with the help of our experts, partners, and additional acceleration and incubation programs. This is what I love about my job, not to stop at identifying, recognizing, and promoting talent using space data, but helping them reaching investors and coaches in order to bring them to the next stage. Today, the stars of the SpacePitches are our regional and country prize winners. They will present to us their solutions, and an experts panel of 3 passionate women in space will have a closer look at their potential for growing, investment, and additional support programs. The Space Awards later on will focus on the challenge winners of the competitions and announce the overall winner amongst all challenge and prize winners. So please make sure to listen closely to the solutions presented now, as the overall winner might already be amongst them. But before we get started, let me give the floor to the man that had a vision to build a network of space startups and companies to solve major challenges Earth is facing today, with the help of EU space data and signals. Thorsten Rudolph, the Managing Director of AZO.
Thank you, Ines. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to welcome you all to our Space Day today, dedicated to the stars of the future and full of space innovation and inspiration. Building on the previous 18th editions of the Space Masters, this year again we are proud to have managed to put together an impressive lineup of disruptive technology and new business cases. And this was only possible with the commitment of all our institutional, industrial, national and regional partners who share our excitement for space commercialization and have again teamed up with us during another challenging year. I would like to express my thanks to our entire space innovation ecosystem for their continuous trust in our vision. Let's continue reaching new heights together. Today we start our Space Day with the SpacePitches, made possible with the support of the European Commission. The next hours will convince you about the innovation power and diversity that Europe can put together in space. This year also in partnership with countries beyond our continent. Before wishing our winners as well as our charming experts lots of fun and success during the pitches, let me remind you of the highlight of the day, the Space Awards tonight. Ines and I will be there. Hope you join too. And now I give back to Ines, and I wish you all a lot of fun with the SpacePitches 2021.
Thank you, Thorsten. As mentioned before, the European Commission is a big supporter of the rollout of the usage of space data in Europe, but also beyond. And I'm happy to have her with us today, not only to open the session, but also later on as one of our experts. Please welcome Martina Sindeler, our representative of the European Commission.
Thank you very much, Ines. Good evening to all of you. It's really a pleasure to open this session, this award ceremony, but also being again a member of the jury. I remember very well the session last year, which was so interesting and amazing, and I'm looking forward again tonight to see the new proposals, the new pitches. It was a particular challenging year. In many aspects, I would say even more challenging than last year. And so we are even more thankful and grateful to all to make this competition again happen and to organize this award ceremony tonight. So on behalf of the Commission, I would give a warm thank to, first of all participants. And congratulations to what you have achieved. It is really amazing to see the development of the projects based on our European space programs. The fields are growing, the applications fields are growing, the technology behind becomes even more dedicated. So we are really very grateful for this and thanks. But also a big thank to our regional partners. I know very well that it was very challenging to organize the regional prizes events, and we are really glad that we had such a big and positive response. Of course, also thanks a lot to AZO for the organization, and I'm looking forward now, together with my dear colleagues, to watch the pitches and to enter into certainly an interesting discussion we have. So thanks a lot, and let's enjoy this evening.
Thank you very much, Martina. We and all our winners and partners tonight appreciate the continuous support of the European Commission, obviously, and we look forward to continue working with you on the Cassini initiative. Let me now introduce you to our other experts supporting us for this event today. Candace Johnson. She's the president of Johnson Paradigma Venture and a member of EBAN. Being an investor in the space market for quite some years now, she has the knowledge and expertise to identify successful startups. Welcome, Candace.
Thank you so much, Ines. And it's so great to be once again with Martina and also to be with Amanda. And yes, there has been many changes and challenges this year, but I think there are 2 or 3 things that we really have to focus on. I'm always kind of a positive person. So I think the first is that entrepreneurs really can save the world, and we are seeing this every day. The second thing is that with the pandemic, the digital transformation has accelerated, and the world is becoming more and more dependent on space, not only for communication, for Earth observation, for navigation, but also for the combination between the animal life, the planetary life, the space life. And so I think that we always need to have new thinking to help us solve these new challenges. And that's certainly what competitions such as these, bring about. So I'm very excited about seeing these pitches tonight, and I'm wishing all of the entrepreneurs much success.
Thank you very much for your welcoming words, Candace. And to our last expert now, Amanda Reagan. Amanda is the head of the ESA PhiLab Invest Office and also the program manager of the Investment in Industrial Innovation Earth Observation Program, also called InCubed. She has in-depth expertise in supporting your solutions from the start to the moment when they get into business with ESA to make their solution a success. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, Ines. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this event today. As you said, I am the program manager for InCubed, and also I'm working inside of the FEE lab based at ISA Esrin in Italy. And we're really looking to support and develop the commercial EO sector based on Earth observation products and services. And as Candice very rightly said, we are really seeing a perfect storm in Earth observation right now, with a lot of different aspects crashing onto the landscape, and a lot of different types of things are crashing onto the landscape, like ICT and different kinds of technology. So we really want to leverage that at ESA and work at a national, European and international level to be able to support our European startups and industry to be able to leverage all of this stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing the pitches today, and I wish all the participants a lot of luck.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and also again a warm welcome to the other ladies in our panel. It's a great pleasure to have gathered a panel of only women with such a strong funding and investor know-how in our virtual hangar today. Let's begin, as we have many stars keen to start shining today. Many more than you can actually see on my pants. Our winners today are coming from all kinds of industries and operate in various application fields where space data and signals are applicable. Therefore, we decided to introduce them to you in the following 7 clusters: agriculture and forestry, building infrastructure and urban development, emergency services, risk management and health, environment, land and pollution monitoring, Galileo and EGNOS, green technology and sustainability markets, and last but not least, transport and UAV. But let's start with the first category, agriculture and forestry. Did you know that 31% of the global land area is covered by forest and 38% by agricultural land? Monitoring and sustainable management of this land to secure our planet's resources is of utmost importance for our survival. But how can you do it properly for such big areas? This is where EU space data and signals come in. With the help of EU data, we learn about the conditions of our forest and the land, for example about the soil moisture or if it needs fertilizers. In combination with Galileo, we are able to farm sustainably, meter by meter, due to its high precision services. It is estimated that using EU space data and signals can increase yields by more than 10% and reduce consumption of inputs such as fuel, fertilizers and pesticides by up to 20%. I am curious now to learn what our winners do to support this.
I'm Fabio Slaviero, Innovation Manager and Business Developer at Abaco. Integrated Pest Management, or in short IPM, is not new and has been around for years. It is the set of methodologies, tools and products to fight pests, which frequently includes the use of a lot of chemicals. There are, although, growing environmental concerns and lack of knowledge. Consumers wish to have more sustainable and safe food, and they are also supported by EU institutions who have endorsed a strategy to reduce the overall use of chemical pesticides, known as the Farm to Fork strategy. However, traditional IPM is only partially based on digital technology, and farmers keep on using obsolete farmer practices. Digital IPM can bridge the gap in field-level integrated pest management, and it's going to change our life, superseding the traditional IPM, which no longer delivers what is needed. Thanks to the new data like Copernicus and new devices like field sensors, it is possible to deliver targeted farming advisory using advanced data fusion and machine learning techniques. The traditional IPM only reacts passively to events, while the new digital IPM is proactive and reacts through a more integrated and evidence-based cycle. It will provide adequate tools to producers, organizations, food processors, and the agri-food industries. The result will be the adoption of new farming practices beneficial to the environment through enabling better use of inputs and providing savings to farmers. Our ambition is to demonstrate them that the change can be done through more evidence-based, place-based, integrated and tailored practices. By similitude with several precision agriculture studies, we estimate savings between 35 and 45 euros per hectare. And this new approach will respond to the global aspiration and urgency to reach sustainability goals pushed by the UN and the European Green Deal. Our plan is to use an existing set of building blocks that embed our know-how as a software house specialized in agriculture and the environment. We plan to start implementing the new IPM service from permanent crop like olives, vineyards and orchards. Hence, we estimated a potential of 100 million hectares worldwide for this subset of crops. We aim for a financing round to support the co-design and co-creation of the service together with pilot customers and subject matter experts, which will also serve to de-risk the implementation, refine the business plan and tune the value propositions. This will be followed by a promotion and expansion stage to reach market channels and potential customers, starting from the ones that we already serve today. Our planned time to delivery of the digital IPM should be faster than 1 year, and we envisage a return on investment in 2 years. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Valerio Marsocci from the Genuine team, based at Sapienza University of Rome, and I'm going to present our solution in the context of the SpacePitches 2021 event. Among the major challenges in the years to come, the need to provide enough resources to support the growing population and the sustainability of the production techniques is emerging more and more clearly. To address this challenge, it is of fundamental importance to make optimal use of water and fertilizer, to develop innovative and low-cost satellite-based techniques, and to identify the optimal routes that must be followed by agricultural machinery. To meet this need, remote sensing and agriculture management skills of our team. This solution, based on Planet and Copernicus Sentinel-2A data, allows to save, based on scientific reports, up to 60% of water and 50% of fertilizers. In addition, the fundamental question that Genuine aims to answer falls perfectly within the targets of Sustainable Development Goals 2 and 12. Particularly, our solution proposes a super-resolution deep learning-based algorithm trained on Planet data to upscale Sentinel-2A imagery. In this way, Sentinel-2A images guarantee the resolution necessary to perform automatic crop border detection and vegetation indices computation for crop health monitoring. Thus, we can identify the areas on which to intervene most and define the optimal routes for the agricultural machinery, which can be accurately followed by means of an innovative GNSS navigation algorithm developed by our team. At present, Genuine is composed by 8 young researchers with a strong belief. Deep learning can make satellite data pivotal for precision farming. We defined the core idea of our solution. We launched a web app, and we are currently developing a prototype. As next steps, we are making pilot tests to deepen the analysis of the potential customers. We are carrying out data fusion to set up a suitable dataset for our experiments, and we are searching for the best HPC solution in terms of both usability and convenience. Moreover, we are developing a minimum viable product, and finally, we are releasing it within the next year. This is our idea, hoping that it could be fruitful and interesting for the whole community.
Hello, my name is Alexandru Vulpe, and I am the CEO and co-founder of BIM Innovation. I'm going to introduce to you our solution entitled AI Crops, a solution for the future of agribusiness. The main problem that we are facing is that farmers are not aware of diseases the plants are suffering from, plant disease areas in a crop, or the exact stage of plant disease. Also, farmers lack an awareness of the adequate treatment for the plant disease stage. This leads to poor water resource management, poor fertilizer management, and poor herbicide and pesticide management. This is a problem that affects more than 315,000 farmers in Europe. Our solution is to identify the plant disease using only the smartphone and receiving all the information for efficient plant treatment. Our solution targets a quick prediction of plant disease by pointing the farmer directly to the area of land under suspicion of plant disease by using Earth observation data from Copernicus. The solution has the potential of transforming subsistence agriculture into precision agriculture. We have some components of our application ready. We have a mobile application, we have image processing, localization algorithms, and we have notification flow. Our next steps are to gather sufficient images of areas with diseases, integrate with Copernicus and acquire Earth observation data, and perform extensive training of machine learning algorithms for recognition of suspicious areas of land. For this, we need an investment of 150 to 2,000 €. We need to hire at least one developer and one agricultural expert, and we need to have a database with plant disease images and treatments. We are a technology company providing web-based and mobile app solutions, and we believe our application has the potential to significantly influence the future of agribusiness.
Welcome everybody, I am very glad to present our project MoveFind. Now, let me tell you what it's all about. As many as you know, disease outbreaks in livestock are a major socioeconomic threat that result in production loss and disruption of local markets, rural economy, and international trade. All around the world, due to COVID, lockdowns and social distancing have suspended or delayed veterinary visits, negatively impacting on animal health. On top of that, overgrazing of cattle has a huge impact on the fields, affecting the soil health and deteriorating its quality, impacting the environment as a whole. MoveFind is a system that integrates a collar worn by a cattle, which combined with remote sensing data that monitors the animal's health and improves livestock and field management. MoveFind allows to monitor the animal health parameters and the position, helping the farmer to know the well-being, the exact location, and the best areas to grazing for the cattle. The collar is comfortable for the animal, and the platform user-friendly for the farmer, and it represents a saving cost. The system ensures sustainable practices for the field, and the wide connectivity allows working in remote places. But how does it work? Using Copernicus technology, we designed a smart grazing system to identify where the healthy and nutritious pastures for the cattle are found, and to guarantee that pasturing practices are not biodegrading the environment. The farmer can use this information to bring their cattle to a specific region where the pastures are healthy and let the others time to regrow. The farmer makes sure that the animal remains in the selected area, thanks to the geofencing due to GNSS. This method ensures a rotational grazing and improves the soil quality and the ecosystem. These data are sent to a cloud and controlled from a user-friendly application, so farmers have real-time information on each animal on the platform and receive alerts if there is any issue with one of them. MoveFind ensures a regenerative agriculture practice, and several studies have shown specific benefits. Prevent outbreaks in the economy, improve animal health and organic soil, restore land and water systems, increase biodiversity, and reduce carbon footprints. So our project is between the stages of the concept idea and the prototype. These would be the next steps: customer validation, including a veterinarian in our team, product development, pilot, technical feasibility, and finally, client acquisitions. What we're looking for is incubation, access to funding programs, and the prototype development. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is João Correia, and first of all, thank you very much for the recognition, and now I will present you our product. So, what if all the old farming tools get some intelligence? Normal tools like the ones that have been used for years? Yeah, amazing things will be possible. things like reduction of chemicals and less soil destruction, transform natural organic matter into natural fertilizer, records of the right position of each seed, and, of course, energy efficiency. All this using tools that farmers know and use today, bringing small farmers to the future of agriculture. The Agro Tour, making them feel that this technology is for them too. Of course, this strategy will not be possible without GNSS Galileo, and that is the reason why we are here. For this technology, the connection with the GNSS Galileo is critical. It is allowing the georeferencing for the executed tasks and also an important role on the self-navigation ability, working together with the sensors on the robot. Our selling strategy is to support agricultural services provided by third parties. On our digital platform, we are developing a dedicated area for this type of customer. In 2022, we will close the prototype and launch the MVP. So, in the last quarter of the next year, we will start working with our service providers. Stay tuned and thank you very much. Don't miss AgroTour.
Did you know that weeds can be one of the biggest yield-reducing factors in agriculture? Yet weeds are also a great biodiversity factor. Weeds serve as host plants for insects and as refugia for other beneficials. Currently, there is a problem in plant protection regarding weeding strategies. Due to the lack of technology, 90% of the widely applied herbicides do not hit any weed at all. The herbicides end up in the soil or even on the crop, where they can potentially enter the food chain. Triggered by the well-known herbicide residue discussion, the call for more selective weed control measures is getting louder and louder. The governments are already addressing this issue with legislative proposals to achieve significant pesticide savings. Finally, the spotlight is on farmers, who are also being forced to reduce their costs while at the same time complying with the new regulations. And this is where SAM Dimension flies in and changes the situation. Before weed control, a drone flies over the area, and for this purpose we have developed a camera system that meets the requirements and the cost framework of agricultural mapping and crop protection. The fast and thus cost-effective mapping of field areas at a very high ground resolution. Our AI recognizes the weeds to be controlled and transfers their position to an application map for field sprayers and robots. These can then use the map to intervene precisely when a weed has been mapped, and this allows the precise application of herbicides or mechanical tools to the weeds that need to be treated. And this stops the useless application of pesticides into the void. In practice, farmers use the SAM Dimension map on their own sprayer without any additional hardware or integration costs. Thus, the sprayer opens its nozzles exactly at the coordinates for which a weed possession has been stored in the map. This increases productivity and at the same time saves herbicides according to the specification of the European Green Deal. With the SAM Dimension mapping system, farmers are prepared for the future and contribute to the biodiversity in agroecosystems with the help of data-driven decisions.
Thanks to all of you for the presentations of your solutions. Let's see what our expert panel has to say about your presentations. Candice, what do you think of the solutions presented? Do you have one solution that you like most and where you would invest in?
Yes. Sure, absolutely. So the one that I like the most is Moo Moo. So Moo Fight. And the reason that I liked it is because I really feel that it is addressing a problem that, agriculture people who have livestock really need, and will bring them immediate help. I also liked weeds, even though, to be honest, I did not think that they did a very good presentation. But here again, it is a very identifiable problem. The other presenters, I felt, and I feel this all of the time, the poor farmers are just bombarded by quote unquote solutions, but they don't have the time to look at all of these solutions. So I really think that somebody needs to come and put a very, very good, interface portal for farmers that could maybe really help them just be able to choose the various solutions that are available to them.
Thank you, Candice. Martina is nodding. As we all know, the European Parliament also voted on the common agricultural policy just lately, and the goals there are also to impact and address a greener CAP, a fairer CAP, and obviously also to improve competitiveness for Europe. Martina, what is your opinion on that, and what does the European Union do for our startups in the agricultural and forestry area?
Well, what I think is very interesting, particularly from our point of view, is that with the use of our space data, usually we're entering into very new markets, partly markets which do not even exist. But, and we see it here again in a very convincing way, the applications are all possible in markets like the agricultural market, which I would say can be considered as very well established, even traditional. That means with the help of space data applications, we can really achieve a huge innovation push, which is something I think 20 years ago, nobody would have imagined that this is one aspect. The other aspect is when you look back, and I'm not at all an expert in agriculture, but 30, 40 years ago, the use of pesticides, more efficient, more better, that was in principle the guiding line in a simple way expressed for agricultural policy. Now we have a complete shift. From the Commission side, as you said, linking to the Green Deal, it is now really the objective to save these pesticides, to use it in a much more accurate way, because it's not just that themselves are not well, and we heard it also that even they can enter into food chains, but they are very often linked to water and water consumption. And we know that water will become one of the precious resources in the next years. So this is something I find very positive, that we can show there are means based on our space program data that can help to achieve this objective. One aspect I would fully agree with Candice is we see so many, and individually certainly very convincing applications, but what Candice said also, when we look from the farmer side, I'm also sometimes concerned that it becomes even too much. And I would also see the necessity to offer an overall package for farmers, I mean, depending, of course, on their specialities, but to offer, I think, a package which allows to use individual space data based applications, but in a coherent way. Otherwise, I'm also a bit afraid we are framing and not progressing in the speed which is needed to make the change in agricultural policy.
Thank you very much, Martina, for this. Amanda, is this something that ESA could support somehow?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, in the Incubed program, we get pitched multiple times a week, as you can imagine, across multiple countries that have subscribed to our program. So we see agriculture as a real growth area, not to put a pun in there, but I mean, in these pitches, I think what I see is that for a good pitch, you have to actually think about what is in it for the customer to actually buy into your concept. So you have to think in terms of so features tell, but benefits sell. So what is in it for me as a potential investor, because ESA is would be potentially investing in your concept, and so having lots of diagrams about how the thing's set up. This is a kind of a feature. This tells me about the thing, but a benefit is actually telling me is selling me the concept. So if we invest in this particular system, then in fact, and some of the pitches mention benefits. So, for example, 20% or 40% reduction in water, 60% reduction in fertilizers. If this can be translated into money that is saved at the farmer level, I think that this is much more powerful than a lot of different block diagrams. I also was missing sometimes with some of the pictures exactly what the product was. There was a lot of details and arrows and including of satellites, but I didn't know exactly what they were bringing to the farmers. I liked the particular case of MooFind. This was something that was very clear to me. But from a farmer point of view, does that mean that I have to keep putting the collars on the cattle, and as the cattle grows, do I have to change the collar? If the collar gets damaged, what happens? So for me, yeah, there's a practical issue there rather than just a satellite. Also, the first pitch, we're talking about integrated pest management, and then started to talk about IPM and the use of acronyms. And I find this in my work all the time. I had actually missed what IPM stood for. So during his pitch, I had to look it up. So I probably missed some of the really great things that he was saying. So I would avoid using acronyms. But yeah, focus on what you're actually bringing to the customers, and then investors are also customers, and they will be able to see what's happening. Thank you, Ines.
Thank you, Amanda. It's, I guess, really helpful for our participants, for our winners, to learn about where they need to still improve their pitch, actually. And still, I think we have at least one solution that Candice liked and that you, Amanda, liked. And Martina, you haven't mentioned MooFind yet, but maybe also this is a solution for you. Yes, you're nodding. So I guess that with MooFind we can move to our next category, basically. So thank you, ladies. We are going to building infrastructure and urban planning now. Certainly, this is a topic that is of great importance considering the increase of population and with it the pressure on the infrastructure sector. How can you space data and signals support in the planning, construction and maintenance? Combine EO and GNSS data to get near real-time information about current developments affecting the construction industry, go digital and impact our living conditions in a positive way. Welcome to our winners presenting in this session.
Hello everyone, my name is Hille Wiggers. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present our company SoilSpect. We are the future of ground settlement measurements. Before a road can be built, the ground must be strong enough to support the weight of the road. To ensure that the soil offers enough support, a layer of ballast ground is placed. This causes the ground to settle. The monitoring of this settlement is done by hand. The construction site can have as many as 20 to 600 of these measurement points. Manual monitoring of settlements consumes a lot of time and thus a lot of money. SoilSpect is operating in the construction world, with the main focus on ground, road, and water construction. Our solution is an automatic measuring station on top of the measuring points. This system monitors the height of the points multiple times a week. Our system uses data from GNSS constellations like Galileo and sends it to our server. In our server, we post-process the data to get accurate heights of the measuring points. This system makes our solution centimeter precise, cheaper to use than the competitors, and our customer has real-time access to all of his data. We are already an incubator of the ASABIC Noordwijk incubation program, and we are currently looking for help on the business side and the marketing side of SoilSpect. I would like to thank you all for your time and attention. We are SoilSpect, and we are the future of ground settlement measurements.
Hello everyone, my name is Candela Sancho, CEO of Detectia. Detectia brings satellite data into decision making. The lack of preventive maintenance of infrastructures and early detection of failures generate large economic and personal losses, such as the collapse of Morandi Bridge in 2018 or the Miami condo building this year. And it's not feasible to monitor all urban and non-urban assets with traditional systems that require ground instrumentation. New monitoring tools are needed. Detectia has developed iRadar, an infrastructure monitoring tool that generates early warnings based on the latest satellite radar technologies and artificial intelligence, easily integrated within the 4D digital model of the infrastructure. The INSAR satellite technology measures small movements of the ground and infrastructures with millimeter accuracy without the need for ground instrumentation, being able to make historical studies of the past 25 years. Managers using iRadar will benefit of increasing the resilience and the safety of the asset while reducing the running cost and the incidents in all the phases of the asset life cycle: design, tendering, construction, or maintenance. Extending by 10 years the lifespan of the European infrastructure will save up to 100 billion per year. Our target market is the smart infrastructure sector, experiencing the digital revolution of the infrastructure market. iRadar is a software as a service already developed as a complete monitoring solution and an API. Detectia was created in November 2019, and we are already working in North America, South America, and Europe. Our first clients are construction and infrastructure maintenance companies, and we are iterating our product, iRadar, based on the real needs of these first clients. We are a spin-off of the Civil Engineering School of the Technical University in Madrid, with more than 20 years of expertise in research applied to the control of ground and infrastructures. We aim to transform the enormous volume of information provided by satellites into easy-to-interpret data supporting decision-making and contributing to the global paradigm shift of digitalization of the infrastructure sector. iRadar, providing early warnings, more than data. Thank you.
Now, we all live in a hyper-connected world. We shop online, we're constantly on our phones, and can hardly find the way to the train station without using Google Maps. But for a moment, imagine a world that is entirely unmapped, where almost nothing is known. It's dark. That is the world of 2 billion people living in remote villages in Africa or Asia. But this world is changing. Banks and e-commerce expand their reach there. Orange wants to provide internet. Engie wants to sell power. Dallmayr wants to buy more coffee, and governments want to provide healthcare and education. Just last week at COP, a group of investors initiated a $100 billion fund for renewable energy and energy access in rural Africa and Asia. They all want to invest in this frontier. But how? If you hardly know the most basic things like where do people live? How big are villages? Do they have infrastructure and marketplaces? Underdevelopment is directly linked to a lack of reliable data. My name is Tobias. and I am a co-founder of Village Data Analytics, or VIDA. We have built a data software to solve that problem. VIDA identifies remote villages and puts their data on a map. We make them visible, often for the first time, by using innovative data technologies. To reach there, we've collaborated with the European Space Agency, as well as with universities in Africa, Europe, and the US. And now we can tell how big a village is, how many houses it has, what kind of houses, is there a road, what is the security risk, what do people grow, do they have water, is there a health clinic, and a lot more. And we can do that anywhere in the world and almost instantaneously. Our users get VIDA data, and then they add their own photos, notes, designs, plans, sensor data, and more. Thus, we build the basis for a reliable feedback and learning loop. And this way, VIDA becomes integrated into their workflow, from planning to operations, and enables our business model, which is software as a service. We went live in February this year. Now we already operate in more than 15 countries, with revenues of 70,000 euro a month. And we already channel more than $1.5 billion into development markets. VIDA is used by businesses, by governments, and by banks. With the World Bank, we have a long-term framework agreement. We started out in energy access, and the first VIDA Identify sites are already up and running in Madagascar and Congo. Now, our customers pull us into new sectors, such as renewables integration, a potential hardly tapped in Africa, and healthcare. We have built VIDA to create an impact at a global scale. I spent more than 10 years working in remote and underdeveloped parts of the world, and I'm convinced that we will never meet the Sustainable Development Goals without investing more and much more intelligently in the rural parts of Africa and Asia. We're on track to make VIDA the standard software for rural investment planning. Our goal is to bring every village out of darkness by 2030. If you're an investor, come, support us, join us on this journey. We're currently raising a Series A. Thank you.
Soon is a web application that will help people find their perfect home. With the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, many people are spending more time in the house. This has been a strong reminder of how important our homes are. Zoom is a service that allows people to see and understand the livability of anywhere in an instant. Zoom uses multiple sources of remotely sensed Earth observation and open data to provide a personalized livability score. To use Zoom, you must first set your preferences and then tap any point on the map. The map will then show the livability score that is tailored for you. Homes can also be matched with user preferences, and so users will find the best fit for their lifestyle. We are also designing our algorithms to work with the past and to predict future data. We want our user to be able to compare livability with the same index across all stages of life. We are scheduled to make our first release in Japan in March of 2022. We are looking for a partner to expand this service in Europe. We hope that together we can revolutionize the global real estate market. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pedro Branco and I'm the Shiubi Sistemas de Informação CEO. I'm here to present you Pattern, the photovoltaic plant fault detection and energy production forecasting tool. Photovoltaic has experienced enormous growth in electricity generation. The variability of photovoltaic power generation creates negative impacts on the electric grid system, such as the stability, reliability, and planning of the operation, aside from the economic benefits. Therefore, accurate forecasting of photovoltaic power generation is significantly important to stabilize and secure grid operation and promote large-scale photovoltaic power integration. Forecasting solar photovoltaic power production is hard. As clouds move over photovoltaic panels, the power output moves up and down rapidly. To keep the energy grid in balance, operators need to have readily available power generation reserves, which usually come from fossil fuel sources. The system leverages in technologies like Copernicus, and in particular the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service and the Copernicus Climate Change Service, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things technologies. Our target customers are energy producers and distributors, grid operators, hardware manufacturers, and smart home operators. The service will be commercialized via subscription and using a software-as-a-service model. Just considering the Spanish market, we estimate savings in the order of 1,500 million euros per year. Our total addressable market is estimated in 500 million euros globally. Our time to market is of 18 months. Pattern is currently at technology readiness level 6, technology demonstrated in relevant environment. Our next steps are to further develop the prototype by improving its artificial intelligence model and user interface. Our team was brought together by the passion in innovation and sustainability. We are myself, Pedro Branco, Chief Executive Officer and Systems Engineer, Luisa Trino, User Interface and User Experience Expert, and Fernando Branco, Internet of Things and Communications Network Expert. Thank you for your attention.
The Way of St. James has become an European tradition that does not only concern Spain or the Catholic countries. In fact, most of its kilometers of trails and paths are located in Central and Western Europe. It was deemed part of the World Heritage by the United Nations, so were many landmarks scattered along its almost 3,000 kilometers, such as the Mont Saint-Michel in France or the Abbey of Corbie in Germany. Today, a big majority of the travelers arriving in Santiago de Compostela are from outside of Spain, with Germany and Italy being the leading sources of pilgrims. The multispectral cameras on board Sentinel satellites provide us with information regarding vegetation density and the humidity level of the terrain, thus allowing us to detect overgrowth in the paths as well as floods that may threaten the safety of the pilgrims or render the trails untraversable. Aside, thanks to the radar data that we will be able to measure the height of the vegetation detected, providing better accuracy for our system. And on top of this, we can carry out analysis to even determine species thanks to Copernicus's cutting-edge onboard sensors, allowing for quick iteration and thus helping to keep the routes clean and safe. The key to our system being able to outsmart the current surveillance technologies is the use of artificial intelligence on top of the images provided by the Copernicus constellation. The system will first look over the images taken during different passes and look for changes in the areas tagged as hiking paths. If an important change is detected after filtering out natural deviations such as lighting, it will be our AI that will determine whether this difference is due to damage to the infrastructure or natural, non-threatening causes. If a flag is raised, the AI will be fed back the verdict from the human expert in charge in order to close the loop and improve its future performance. Thanks to the almost full automation of the system, we will be able to check the safety of thousands of kilometers of paths and trails in a blink, and detect faster than ever those zones in need of maintenance, greatly improving reaction time and stopping those minor incidents from becoming actual threats to the pilgrim's safety.
Thank you, my stars, for shining so bright today. Having heard the solutions from the St. James Caminito, I'm wondering if any of you ladies ever walked the St. James pathway in Spain or even the other countries that it is leading through. Martina, would you like to answer
No.
first?
No, I never did it, but of course, I mean, I know it. Yes, perhaps starting with the last presentation. I mean, this is a project close to my heart. It was also presented under the Commission Challenge. And what I liked so much is, first of all, that looking at this cultural heritage as an infrastructure, I found it very, very interesting. The proposal is certainly far away from being close to the market. And I mean, I will not hide that we ask also some questions, because due to the fact that the path goes through different countries, so you would have contacts with very, very different, mostly public authorities. Nevertheless, this idea to look at it as an infrastructure and to really show what you can do with space data to maintain this infrastructure was interesting. But it was also interesting due to the fact that it is a very, very nice example, and it fits perfectly well into the priorities of the European Commission's tourism policy, which goes strongly the way of digitization in tourism. This project is certainly an example for going this way and using technology for touristical objectives. Apart from this, if I may say some words concerning the other project. It is without any doubt that monitoring big infrastructures is one of the biggest problems, not only in Europe, but worldwide. And I mean, we have always examples for very often dramatic accidents. What I think is still a hurdle for all the startups and the proposals is that it is also a public authority dominated market or area. And this was the impression from all pitches, except perhaps the Spanish one, to look ahead. And I think this is perhaps the next crucial step for them, to look ahead. What can I do with my solution to bring it to the customers? I think this is, particularly in this field, a challenge. And I think all presented proposals needs to go this next step to get in contact, to identify first whom are my customers, and then to get in contact with them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for that, Martina. And yeah, Candice, you already mentioned you didn't walk the St. James Caminito yet. Maybe you do this at some point.
No.
Would personal consternation be a reason for you to invest into solutions like the one that we just heard, or also the others?
No. I would not.
Clear answer.
But no, it was a very interesting proposition. And my godson is actually working with Facebook. And this is why it is also very interesting what Martina was saying, because I saw him in August. And he told me, Candice, this is very, very confidential, but I will tell you my godmother. And he was a documentary filmmaker and a computer science major, double major with augmented reality at Stanford. And of course, what he was telling me, what he was doing at that time in late August was that he was doing a special project for Facebook on going to see all of these archaeological sites and seeing if they were okay and doing documentary, with them. And of course, we've seen in the last days that really this was leading up to this whole metaverse that, Facebook is doing. So, what Martina was saying, yes, data, but what are you going to do? What is the product that you are going to make out of this data? What are you going to be able to sell to a customer? What is that customer going to pay for that? And just about all of the presentations in this section failed to talk about that. The one that I liked the most and was really taken, I mean, I would invest in them, is VIDA, the village data analytics. A very dear friend of mine who is working with Dr. Vanessa Lawrence. She has been the geospatial expert and geographer, for the UK and really for the world, for the United Nations. And everything that gentleman talked about, the unmapped, the blind, identifying those who can, where we can really, really help. I mean, this was a beautiful, beautiful solution. And I was very impressed.
You should definitely get in touch with them then, I would suggest. Good to hear that you found a solution that you like most. Obviously, these are our winners, and the steps that we are taking in Copernicus Masters, but also Galileo Masters, are the first. And your comments and your recommendation to improve them and the solutions that they presented are always very valuable. So I hope that in their next step, going maybe into incubation, acceleration programs, they will further improve it and become successful. So Amanda, we also heard a solution coming from Japan. So this is the first time that we went beyond the borders of Europe in the competition itself. It was the one that was called Zoom. So to help you find the perfect new home for yourself, would you consider of using that service by them? Maybe moving to a new place?
Well, yes, considering I've actually just moved in the last 6 months, I think I would have been very happy for this service. So yes, and I mean, speaking from the European Space Agency point of view, and the InCubed program. So our program is subscribed at the moment with 18 member states. So we're using taxpayers' money from these 18 member states. So we have had cases in InCubed where companies have come from outside of Europe and they have chosen a particular European country to settle in, and they've incorporated the company and they've started to contribute to the national ecosystem and infrastructure. And then in that case, we're able to help them de-risk their developments and help them to develop the overall European ecosystem. So yes, I mean, I quite liked the Zoom concept. I think as Candice said, I think what would really improve all of the pitches in this section is if they can actually have explicit customer engagement. So in InCubed, for example, we look for three main things. We look for innovation, so they have to be bringing something new to the table. We're looking for commercial viability, so we're not just a technology development program. And also we're looking for customer engagement, so we're expecting customers to be already there with letters of support or involvement in the actual activity already. And so I think that having this kind of focus in mind is really important. I think that the one that I liked the most was probably VIDA, because the pitch was kind of like a story. It kind of pulled you in, which was very nice. I also quite liked Detectia as well, with the eye radar. That triggered more questions for me than anything. Now, InCubed, in terms of positioning, we have a number of ESA BIC graduates that are onboarded into InCubed, and so this is kind of where InCubed kind of fits in the overall pathway of the overall kind of development of these kind of concepts. So I would suggest that some of these take a look at the InCubed website.
That is also very good recommendations, definitely for our winners that we just heard in this section. Definitely, just to keep also our audience informed. Our winners are at the very beginning, so we have different development stages. Some are already a little bit further. They would be applicable for the InCube program, but there are also solutions that are at a very early stage, so they have an idea, and we should also give them a chance, obviously, to present themselves and maybe find partners and coaches that help them to find the right program for them and get the next step rolling. So with this, I would like to go to our next category, which is the one emergency services and risk management and health. EU space data delivers the information to look into the past, present, and predict the future by modeling our Earth. A combination of VO data with near real-time, high-accuracy GNSS data provides us with information about the rise of the water level and the spread of wildfires, for example. Combining this with a Galileo search and rescue service, lives can be saved. Have you thought this was possible with the help of EU space data and signals? Let's see how our next winners improve and save our lives on Earth.
Number of distress calls to emergency numbers was tripled in particular dates during COVID crisis. I'm Boris Prochaska from GINA, and this is First Response Project. The project focuses on entire process of medical request, from the patient distress call, in-field treatment, to the hospitalization, using space technological and technical enhancements to make the process as effective as possible. Our stakeholders and clients are patients who need to call help simply via smartphone or watches, 112 dispatchers who need to communicate digitally with all stakeholders to speed up the case, first responders who need to reach the scene as soon as possible, and finally the hospital crew who take over the patient. We focus on the blue light agencies. In this video, you can see public safety answering point located in Liberec in the Czech Republic, who can see dispatcher work, who needs to locate and describe the incident. The first responder units are dispatched to solve the case. We interconnect all rescuers attending the case into one digital line using tablets installed both in cars and helicopters. It was measured that the digitalization of the communication can save up to 70% of the radio transmission. Also, coordinated navigation to the scene can be faster in every third case. Our main ambition is to accelerate the entire paramedical resource chain by up to 20% thanks to fluid workflow connecting all operators engaged in the rescue operation. We see great potential on the market that can use standard tablet devices for emergency forces. These devices are affordable and easy to use. The market is rapidly evolving as emergencies are searching for a way to use and utilize 4G and 5G networks, together with precise localization. On the other hand, emergency services are rather conservative when it comes to the innovations, and local barriers for deployments or pilots usually exist. We are currently piloting with 4 organizations, 3 in Czech Republic and 1 in Italy. We have installation for both the ambulances and the firefighters. During 2021, First Response Project was used in more than 10,000 calls and incidents. At this stage, we look mainly for partners and authorities who can help us to disseminate information about First Response Project and to help attend the right people who can be interested in modern field coordination system for blue lights. Thank you, and please do not hesitate to contact us for more information about First Response Project.
Every day, firefighters and civil security save our lives. But what about their own lives? When an incident occurs, there is no way to immediately find the endangered agents. In fire situation, without visibility, officers can die because they cannot be located. Nav4U develops services to save lives by securing agents in interventions. Our solution exploits an innovative foot-mounted location device resulting from 6 years of research and development at Geoloc Laboratory in France. It merges inertial, magnetic, and GNSS raw signal with artificial intelligence to detect a large variety of human dynamics. With an innovative way of processing carrier phase raw measurement, we are able to use Galileo data even inside buildings 40% of the time. In these environments, we benefit from Galileo E5 signal modulation, offering more robustness to multipass and lower measurement noise. Our solution is lightweight and easy to use. In contrast with other solutions available on the market, our device provides necessary elements to detect incidents and locate agents in real time with submetric accuracy regardless of the environment. It works indoor and outdoor without additional infrastructure. A software platform shows real-time position of agents on updated maps based on Copernicus high-resolution imagery services. So now, no more agent lost. Our solution also proposes post-intervention analysis to optimize deployment and process. Our goal is to become the reference for French firefighters by 2023, and then expand to the European markets. To develop this solution, NAV4U is already supported by professional firefighters from French firefighters departments. And the first contract with French Space Agency, the CNES, allows us to develop the first version of our solution. The company is now looking for funding to move into the industrialization phase and go to market. For this, we also would like to apply for incubation support to develop our business and target Europe. We target to equip 30,000 agents by 4 years. People save our lives. It is essential that they be protected too.
Hello, I'm Sebastian Lemke, CEO and co-founder of E-Ray. And today it's a pleasure for me to present to you WAMO, our surface water management solution that helps municipalities to adapt to the effects of climate change. But what's the problem with climate change? According to DWD, the German Weather Service, more and more intense weather events will take place in Europe, and especially on a more regional concentrated level, as we have seen also in the R catastrophe this year in Germany. The existing water level measuring infrastructure is limited. The gauging houses have a maximum measured water level they can take of 5 meters. And in this night, the water level rose to over 8 meters. Another challenge is what threatens our surface water bodies is the rapid growth of harmful blue-green algae in our lakes and also in our rivers. We have the perfect solution designed for this. We call it WAMO. It's a mobile, affordable platform for real-time warnings of flood and for water quality applications. And we combine this with our satellite superpower, a high-precision GNSS system to measure the water level on a centimeter basis, but also the exact positioning of the WAMO to enable water quality applications. Our next steps are pilot projects with strong partners. For example, with the HEAG, one of the biggest municipal utilities in Germany with over 3,000 employees, the Digitalstadt of Darmstadt, and in WIMO, which is an operator of water quality monitoring stations that also helped us in the design of the current solution. We are a finalist of the EIC acceleration program, and also we are looking to close our financing round of 600,000 euro in the second quarter of 2022, and looking forward to set up our serial production and further development in the WAMO technology. It's a pleasure for us that you're having us, and we are looking forward for the exchange to all the finalists, to the experts, to the Galileo Masters team, and also with the ESA to bring forward satellite-based water applications, and we are the team for it. E-Ray, thank you all.
24 years from now, over 700 million people worldwide will be living with diabetes. That's a lot. And the sad thing is that there is no cure for diabetes. There is only diabetes management, and diabetes management, it's complicated. Diabetes management includes taking the right medication, insulin, eating the right foods, and also be on track with activity. But there is also a fourth pillar, which is oftentimes ignored, but very important. And that's stress, because stress can mess everything up and set glucose levels very high and just start this diabetes roller coaster without an end. So that's why we have developed Pandia, the first app in the world for stress and diabetes. Stress is very difficult to measure. So far, it just entails filling out extensive surveys. But with Pandia, we can measure stress automatically. So the patient doesn't have to give any manual input, which is really time consuming. And with Pandia, we measure the stress automatically from wearable data, smartphone data, but also location-based data, because we know that location is very important when it comes to stress. Stress at work is something different than stress at home, and it really needs to be taken into consideration. After we have detected the stress levels, we can say how it affects blood glucose levels. And most importantly, we can tell the user, the patient, how they can take the right action at the right time and at the right place. So far, our app is available in the App Store as an MVP, and we want to use Galileo data now to even improve our stress detection and also to make our app available to a broader audience. With the Living Lab prize from DSLL, thanks to Galileo Masters, we will be able to validate this data for our app and even improve our product. Thank you very much. I'm Tatjana Weiß from Panda Insight.
So all of the solutions that we just heard are really very different in terms of the product or the service that they deliver to us. So Martina, do you have one case that you find most exciting and that you think is at a stage that can be scaled up in Europe and maybe even beyond? And why would you think so?
Well, these pitches, from my point of view, they were particularly interesting. As you said, very, very diverse. What I personally observe, and I think this is a very, very positive development, is to use more and more space data for really disease monitoring, really in the core of the health sector. You know that in the frame of the new research program Horizon Europe, we have 5 horizontal themes, the so-called missions. And we have one particular mission dealing with cancer prevention. And it was very interesting to see how the research, particularly in this area, is going on. Not only the use of artificial intelligence, the data analytics, and all these technologies become increasingly important to do the research, really, as I said, disease related. But we saw it also from previous competition rounds in the frame of the Copernicus Prizes, that there are still few, but increasingly number of applications using space data. And this I find particularly interesting. Of course, everything which is concerned to health must reply to many requirements, security requirements, but nevertheless, this is an interesting development. What I liked in the project, the France project, NAV4U, is also based on our experience with similar projects for firefighters, is that it is obviously very important to work very closely with the men in the field, so the fire workers, And this I found rather convincing in this presentation, that they are obviously already advanced in close contacts with the relevant users. So this is, I would say, a project which seems to be promising, yeah.
Which maybe also seems to be promising to scale up. Amanda, do you think that ESA can support them in scaling up?
Yeah, I very much enjoyed their pitch. I guess my question for them is, I would really like more information on the trade-off of why they decided to put it on the shoes rather than another part of the body. And also how heavy this particular device is. They said it was lightweight, but if I'm running into a burning fire, I want to know how much more kit I'm actually taking with me. So not that I hope that will ever happen on personal point. Yes, it actually raised more questions for me, that particular pitch. The first pitch about the first response, I thought it was really positive that they're thinking outside of the Czech Republic, and they've already got some activities with an Italian partner, for example. I think this is positive. With the water management pitch, I would also suggest that they look at positioning themselves with other types of companies that are offering a similar thing. I know in Incubed we have de-risked I would say more than a couple of water quality services. So their unique selling point needs to be really prominent. And also, I liked the diabetes and stress pitch. I mean, I think it's obvious that there would be a market for this if it worked. However, just saying that they're going to measure stress, I was thinking, well, how are you going to measure stress exactly? So again, this led to me thinking more questions than anything else.
Is it a good thing that you have still open questions after you hear pitches? Because obviously this, in my view, means that you are interested, that there was a light that got sparked inside of you to learn more about it. So is that a positive thing for an investor?
A positive thing, because what we do in Incubed, for example, is that our first point of contact with the companies is we ask them to pitch their idea to us. They have to go on ideas.esa.int and look for the Incubed portal, and we get them to pitch for 15 minutes, and then we also invite the associated national delegation, and we basically grill them for half an hour to see what that is. And if the thing is that these are not finished concepts, so if there's not more questions to be asked, then it means that the product is ready to go. So then we ask for a part one proposal. So we're always asking questions. This is not a finished product, so we're always looking to shape and de-risk developments.
That's very good to hear, and this is also the reason why we're doing what we're doing, to support them on their way. And yeah, definitely. I think that also the topic that we're talking about now, like emergency services, risk management and health, is maybe also rather a topic of public interest. Candice, you coming from the other side, would an investor invest into solutions that are rather addressing topics interesting for the public side?
Well, I think, that we are seeing in every single sector, PPP, private-public partnerships. We are seeing they don't even need to be partnerships. The private people are making public projects possible. In the United States, they have something that's called the B Corps, which also has to do very much with environmental and etc. So, definitely investors are interested in investing in services or solutions for a public market. the least of which, of course, it's a very big market. So the addressable market is very big. And so particularly also when you see so many space projects, who are working with the various ministries of defense or environment, or indeed now, now health. So definitely the solutions that Copernicus and Galileo, themselves kind of a public proposition, are enabling for entrepreneurs to then use that satellite data to then be able to provide solutions for the world as a whole. So it is a very virtuous circle, and that is really excellent. Also, we can even talk about the circular economy. Mm-hmm. So the one thing, I did think that the pitches in this section were perhaps more relevant, and I think that is because and I always tell everybody, you must meet the challenges of the day. And there's no question that health, first response, climate, etc., that this is very much the challenge of today. And so, it's more immediate for the entrepreneurs. They also probably will have an easier time of getting clients, be they governments, be they municipalities, etc. I did, first of all, I was very happy to have our first woman of the evening as an entrepreneur, so Tatiana. I was very happy about that. And I also think that this measuring stress, measuring diabetes, that's a nice solution, because indeed it takes the risk out of the human error factor. So that is very good. But stress is something that, as we have seen in the pandemic, can have huge impacts on the health of people, on the health of communities, etc., corporations. So I agree with Amanda that definitely, how are they measuring stress? Now, I have actually seen some other companies that do measure stress, particularly on the heart. And so I kind of know a little bit how they do that. But I do think that in the future, stress and stress-related sicknesses, a very dear friend of mine died of pancreatic cancer, and she had an incredibly stressful event basically right before she got it. And the doctors unequivocally said, had she not had that stress event where her immune system was down, she probably would not have had the pancreatic cancer for at least 10 more years. It was there, but her immune system could not fight it. So interesting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So it sounds like that you found your favorite solution in the one from Tatiana. Just to mention, or is it not your favorite?
I think quite frankly, the firefighters.
Firefighters
was
your favorite. Okay.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite. But I would give in this section, I would give the forerunner prize to Tatiana.
Okay, it's very good to hear. But what I still wanted to mention, because you said that she was our first lady in this round. It's true, she was. But in the round before, Amanda mentioned the solution from Detectia. So we also had one woman in space, at least in the session before. So I'm definitely, obviously, also always in favor of promoting women. This is why we also have like a female panel with us today. So so I hear that All of the solutions that were presented under this category are actually of a big interest for all of you, and that it sounds at least as if it was difficult to choose one clear favorite for you, because obviously all the solutions, as mentioned, address a lot of challenges that we are facing today. And so let's see what the next category will bring. We are jumping to the category Environment, Land and Pollution Monitoring. Environment, Land and Pollution Monitoring shows clearly how each and every one of us, as well as industry, can benefit from EU space data and signals by using the applications and solutions developed by our winners. What they have in common is that with the help of EO and GNSS data, in combination with commercial data, they deliver technological advancement for our environment, the land, the water and the air. They increase our quality of life and the understanding of our beautiful blue planet behind me on a hyper-local level. Let's see what our winners have come up with.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Claudio Souza and I come from Portugal. I represent the company LS Engineering. And I would like to introduce the theme of bathymetry derivation from multispectral imagery. Why we need to know the bottom of the sea. Bathymetry is the submarine topography, a knowledge of extreme importance, and mainly because the seabed is constantly changing. It is obtained by the measurement of sea depth, usually through sonar technology. A very demanding methodology from a logistical and financial perspective that requires a lot of time and specialized personnel to accomplish. Has the main purpose of safety to navigation through the production of nautical cartography and according to the very high standards of the International Hydrographic Organization, but also to support other maritime activities. In this field, we have the maritime dredging, oceanography, environment and energy, security and defense. But satellite bathymetry derivation is today a reality. This technology allows to obtain products usable in a variety of activities with sufficient quality for a wide range of applications, which the high costs of hydrographic service would not allow to perform, impacting on economic and social development. And the Copernicus program can provide us today with images capable of being processed and transformed into suitable data. And standing out is the global coverage of large coastal areas, short visit period, no mobilization of persons or equipment, low cost and carbon-free technology. And associated with this, we can combine very high resolution data using multispectral cameras on our own UAV systems to work on areas with special needs. And this results in bathymetric maps able to depict immense detail of the bottom and fastly. Like this coastal area in south of Portugal, where the 3D model with a spatial resolution of 10 meters is derived from Sentinel images and allows to observe the main structures of the bottom as well as the changes. And this is our product. In a single shot, we have a big picture of a large coastal zone that allows to obtain bathymetric data useful to produce hydrographic cartography in analog or digital format. Our technical strategy is based on the knowledge and experience of technicians in geometric business. At LS Engineering, we are a a team of 6, a multidisciplinary team with experts on hydrography, trained by a Navy military institution, and the other come from the earth and computer sciences, but also business management. We would say that our product development is already at readiness level 7, in a scale of 1 to 9, and our ambition is to reach level 8 already in the start of the next year, 2022. For product development, we benefit actually from the ESA Big Portugal program that gave us the financial support for the acquisition of the necessary equipment and software. And we look now for the technical marketing support to reach markets and establish our company as a reference in this field. And that's all, and thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Pranav Pasari. I'm the Technical Director at SatSense Solutions Limited. My pitch is titled Sediment Assessment at Hydropower Plants. Hydropower is the largest source of affordable renewable energy for several countries. According to the World Bank, sedimentation poses the greatest threat to to the sustainability of hydropower projects and reservoirs by reducing storage capacity and damaging hydromechanical equipment. In addition, sediment imbalances also cause adverse environmental impacts like the loss of habitat and erosion. Conventional methods of evaluating sedimentation pose challenges as sediment content varies considerably with location, flow rates, and seasonal changes. SatSense Solutions uses multispectral satellite data to evaluate sediment concentrations in rivers and reservoirs at high spatial and temporal resolutions, providing comprehensive data along with actionable information. These solutions can help evaluate operational parameters such as sediment concentration at intake and outlet points, trap efficiency, sediment load and yields, and sediment rating curves. They facilitate sediment management by identifying upstream high erosion areas, determining sediment distribution in reservoirs, and enabling sediment bypassing, contributing directly towards operational efficiency and longevity of hydropower plants. Users can access these solutions using a proprietary and intuitive web-based dashboard application where the latest data, along with analytics and graphs, will be made available through data as a service subscription model. We are looking to work with industry partners, sustainability advocates, and technology accelerators to establish these solutions as best industry practice. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Johan, one of the 3 co-founders of Deeper Technology. We're a team of AI engineers, geoinformatics, and remote sensing experts with the goal to provide sub-meter resolution nationwide land cover maps using aerial imagery, Sentinel-2, and AI. The accurate mapping of land cover and its changes over time are an important building block of many industries and commercial products, from cadastre to forestry, smart farming, water management, the protection of the environment, and most importantly, the adaptation to climate change. However, while there are large-scale land cover maps like Ines, Esri's newly released land cover, or local cadastre, all these solutions are either limited in resolution, they're semi-automated, or they require information that might not be readily available at scale. Especially the limited resolution does not allow for a mapping of fine-grained features like roads, buildings, small agricultural fields, or water bodies. To accurately determine all relevant classes, our approach merges high-resolution aerial imagery with 20 centimeter ground resolution with upsampled Sentinel-2 satellite imagery to determine 15 different land cover classes. Among them are classes that have never been mapped on nationwide scales with fine resolution, like photovoltaic systems or pervious surfaces. Due to the large number of classes, there are many different applications and markets where our solution finds appeal, and our land cover is already being used commercially by several customers. For example, in the lead generation for photovoltaics on roofs, and open space photovoltaics by one of the largest European electric utility companies, for cadastre management by several local governments, water management, and for vegetation management for power grids by one of Germany's largest energy companies. Our vision for the future is to provide yearly high-resolution land cover maps of the entire European continent. So we would be happy to get in contact with corporations and decision makers who could benefit from macroscopic geospatial insight and help us to take our solution to the next level.
Hi, I'm Ava. 3 years ago, I was walking to school and became more aware of the air quality around me. So I made something, because at the time, nothing was available at a hyperlocal level. That first prototype was wearable, a pollution sensor with location mapping to discover my healthiest air quality route. Air pollution has various effects and globally accounts for around 9 million deaths per year. More research is emerging, showing the impact on health and cognition of children or adults around the world. In Manchester, one recent study shows just how much pollution levels impact on children's learning in primary schools. Something as complex as pollution requires more than data for people to gain a true understanding of behavioural changes needed to reach our climate ambition. Nothing as small as this pin badge is available today, My service provides accuracy, true wearability, and accessibility that is currently missing from the marketplace. That's why this solution is needed. Graphene helps to achieve the pin badge size of the sensor device, making it truly wearable. Ground level data from the pin badge is combined with GNSS for hyperlocal accuracy. PerfectSense AQ aggregates satellite and ground level data to get meaningful information to people when they need it. GNSS provides hyperlocality as well as the positioning systems needed to get an accurate picture of the air around you. The app has a simple user interface, and immersive XR experiences are also on the roadmap to gamify this data and help understanding. Galileo Masters is helping me with different parts of my roadmap. Firstly, even more specialist support and business mentoring from Grace at the University of Nottingham means I can integrate GNSS into my design right now and gain insights and advice from the experts and partners in the network, all helping with the art of the possible. I'm ready to launch from prototype to MVP, and that step to commercialization is where I'm looking for technical and business support. Finally, a solution that is commercially viable, reaches more people to make an impact on what I truly believe is possible. Maintaining an element of social enterprise means I'm able to continue giving back to the education and health sectors. These were my first motivations when I started out.
Hello, we're Team Demosat and we help boost your health with every breath. Our mission is to help vulnerable populations and socially conscious companies promote better health even in highly environmentally polluted areas. Nowadays, approximately 7 million people die each year due to air pollution-related complications. In addition, the medical expenditures due to sick leave and inactivity at work amount to €400 million per year. We aim at reducing the health risks and sick leave days by providing actionable, user-friendly recommendations for individuals and organizations. Our web-based integratable platform enables users to monitor and improve their environmental and health impact. Each user goes through a personalized journey in which they gain insights from satellite and IoT data, including data from the Copernicus atmosphere monitoring service, about the air quality, environmental pollution, and health risk in their area of interest. Demosat provides personalized recommendations on how to minimize the health risks and the personal environmental pollution footprint and supports the user's performance over time. The app offers a unique combination of products, services, and actions to achieve reduction in sick leave days and improve workspace conditions. This way, our customers can cut costs due to downtime and absences, as well as improve the productivity and well-being of their employees. Demosat is available for free for individual users and for a monthly subscription fee for organizations. Additional sources of revenue include affiliate marketing fee for recommended products, sensor management, and custom services fees. We plan to roll out our MVP early in 2022 and follow through with the first enterprise customer. We are already evaluating interest with building managers and insurance companies. As a next step, we plan to increase the portfolio of recommended products and services through affiliate partnerships and reach more potential customers. To achieve this, we have gathered a team of professionals in the areas of healthcare, business, and technology implementation. We are working on expanding our startup management know-how and are looking for access to investors and partner networks. In order to scale quicker, we will also need to expand our hardware and human resources. With Demosat, let's boost your health with every breath.
Hello, my name is Jan Jacques and I'm here to tell you about Weather Layers, the software platform providing weather visualization as a service. For customers with web map applications, Weather Layers provide ready-to-use visualization layers together with weather data preprocessed for the visualization. Weather Layers can include any data from atmospheric, maritime, and climate Copernicus data stores or other global providers. Available visualization layers include a raster layer that can be used with any data. There is a contour layer and a high and low layer that can be used mainly with atmospheric pressure and temperature. And there is a particle animation layer that can be used with vector data such as wind speed, ocean wave speed, and ocean current speed. Visualization layers can be integrated with web map applications implemented in popular libraries such as DeckGL, Leaflet, Google Maps, Mapbox, MapLibrary, ArcGIS, or other libraries. Current status is that there is a company founded in Czech Republic, there is a demo available, and there are first customers onboarding to the private beta. I'm looking for incubation funding to cover legal fees and development of further improvements. Next steps are to finalize legal contracts and stabilize the public release so that the service can be considered ready to use and sell.
It seems we do have all the data we need to save our planet, but who is actually going to do it? Small steps are taken by our winners, but we do see that many more of these great minds are needed. And because of that, I'm so glad to have Eva Garside as one of our winners this year. If you haven't guessed, she is 16 years old and one of the brightest girls that I have met lately. I would even go so far and call her the new Greta Thunberg, changing the world with space. Martina, are there dedicated programs of the European Union to educate young people in entrepreneurship and space-related topics?
This is a subject very, very close to my heart, I must say, and it is missing. I think this is still a field where also from the Commission side efforts should be put in. Of course, there are more and more universities who integrate space in their curricula, but in my view, it is too late. If I may share some personal experience, I go regularly to the European schools in Brussels to talk about Copernicus, to talk about Galileo. And the youngest classes I'm going through are the third primary, so 8, 9 years old. And of course, I try to talk in a very nice way, in a very easy way, but nevertheless try to transmit important information. And I'm always very, very impressed by the answers I get from the kids, the knowledge they have, their capacity to think in broader context already. And this is something, in my view, should be done much, much, much more systematically, because we have also seen over the years in the competitions that there are more and more applications dedicated to schools, applications based on our space data, but dedicated to schools, bringing geographical problems, for example, to children, explaining them in a very visual way. So I would really be very glad to see that the knowledge transfer to the schools, and particularly to the very young children, in a domain which for me is really the future, and space data are for me really the new resource for the coal of the 21st, 22nd century. To raise really awareness of the potential, the use potential these data have.
Thank you very much, Martina, also for that very personal insight on your end. Amanda, is there a program, an initiative of ESA that supports young entrepreneurs like Eva? Do you know about such a program?
As far as I know, we don't have one. So I'm working in Earth observation, and in fact, the commercialization and the new space has only recently really affected or have come online with the Earth observation overall space. It's kind of the little brother to telecoms and navigation in a space sense. Since I would say from about 2012, we've started to be able to gain traction to commercialize Earth observation. So this is still a rather green shoots concept for us. We do in ESA have various offices that are starting to look at this in terms of supporting small and medium-sized companies, and also we have a newly formed commercialization directorate as well. So we're seeing this as a particular area, like Martina said, and so yes, we see this very much as a particular growth area.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to hear that the European Commission and ESA are pulling on one string here, and hopefully increasing the opportunities for our younger generation also to scale up in space and with the space solutions. Definitely. Amanda, I got a second question for you. So considering more and more private new space companies are coming to the market and delivering even more data, how does the Copernicus contributing mission program evolve, and why is this one important for investors as well and innovators? Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, what's really nice, what we're seeing in new space is all of these new technologies and new ways of doing things are really bringing in new thinking, new people, new business models. But what we're actually seeing is that this new thinking and new ways of doing things are actually being stimulated and developed by the existence of the Copernicus overall architecture, because the provision of these data sets from the Sentinel satellites is basically providing long-term systematic data so that companies can build long-term business plans and start doing very credible long-term business planning. Now, what that means, obviously, the Sentinels were developed from a global mapping point of view, and they were never designed, and nor should they provide everything to everybody. And so this is the space in which third-party missions can come and really fill in those particular spaces that the Sentinels are never designed to meet. So what we're seeing is kind of a jigsaw of satellite capabilities and looking at things through different physics, different angles, different orbits, and this on top of the third-party missions, we're also seeing in InCubed new commercially driven concepts which are targeting a particular niche as well. So for me, there's no real conflict or competition. We're all trying to actually build a better picture of the Earth and what is going on, because at the end of the day, the Earth is a system, and we need to understand how that system actually works. So we need as much data as we can.
It's definitely nice to hear that, the connection there is coming from both sides, hopefully, as well also from the commercial side on that end.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that you ladies already heard who of the winners that we just heard is my favorite candidate. Candice, would you consider Ava as well as a candidate that could fit to what you're...
So I wanted to I wanted to address this point that you brought up about space entrepreneur, getting interested in space and getting interested in entrepreneurship. And I'd just like maybe to make 2 points. So when I was 5 in the United States, of course, I did, like every young child, a lemonade stand. And lemonade stands are great to help kids get into entrepreneurship. They have to figure out where the lemonade stand is going to be. They have to figure out what their ingredients cost. They have to do a little marketing campaign, etc. And so, I remember having the best lemonade stand on the corner. Obviously. When I was 5, I also received a toy because it was 1957 and it was the year of the Sputnik, and it was launched in October, and in December for Christmas I received this little toy Sputnik with Santa Claus inside of it, and to put on the Christmas tree. And so from then on I was convinced that everything good came from space, came from Santa Claus in the Sputnik. So, you know, that really did inspire me. And when I was 10, my dad came to my 5th grade class and he told us that one day we will have satellites to do communications, education, entertainment. This is 1962. And when we have wars, we will have wars with satellites, but we will have peace on Earth. So now, of course, today, so I think we need to get the people much younger, not only for entrepreneurship, but also for space. And when I received the Women in Aerospace Europe Lifetime Achievement Award, I actually tried to then put together a program for young girls to go into this various space companies and to learn about space and satellites. The large space companies did not allow this, but other ones did. And so there is actually quite a movement from the Women in Aerospace Europe people to get young girls into space camps, space, building space rockets, etc. So I think it's a really, really important thing. So I liked what Eva was doing. And like always, this is the beautiful thing about getting people young, is that you can then help them. So I did not know her age, but I noted that she had a very good idea, but she needed to be told that her, wearable data collection would not only be good for pollution, but that it could actually become a platform, and that she would be able then to develop that. So I saw the potential, which is very important when you're working with entrepreneurs. And I also saw that certainly if she was given a little bit of mentoring, the former vice chair of EY said, capital without mentoring is lost capital. Very, very good. So out of the last section, though, so here again, I would probably call Eva my forerunner, favorite. But I think my favorite was actually SatSense, because it was very focused, and the presentation was good. It wasn't sexy, but it was appropriate to the clientele that he was trying to get. And so, he explained what the problem was, which a lot of people did not explain the problem, what the pain was. He explained it right away. We all understood, sediment, who would have known, is really a very big problem, for these hydropower projects. And then in a very serious way, he presented his solution and he said, these are the clients that I need. And it was a very good market fit. So I liked him the best.
Thank you very much, Candice. Martina, you were also nodding, so it seems that SatSense
I fully agree with Candice, and particularly in this round, I thought as an advice to all, they are tackling global or big problems, and for explaining their idea, explaining their solution, they should perhaps even start with thinking, what is your problem? What I wanted to say with this is, have already, even it is an imaginative customer, but having already the potential customer in mind and asking, what is your problem, and this is my solution to your problem. Otherwise, this is my solution, yes, to your problem, and then explaining how they want to solve it. I'm a bit afraid in projects tackling, as I said, bigger problems, global problems, for the progress towards the market, it becomes difficult when you do not have, even from the beginning, at least an idea to whom you want to sell it. Yeah. And this indeed was convincing in the Swedish proposal. They have focused also on one specific area, the hydropowers. And of course, this makes the thinking, in my view, easier and more targeted.
Clear customer, it seems, is also like a key word that we not only heard in this category, but also obviously in the other categories before.
Thinking from the perspective of a potential client or customer. Yes. But one remark concerning women in space, I think with Amanda we have a best example for a young woman in constructing satellites with us.
I'll pay you later, Martina. Thank you.
In this respect, you are always really, I admire you, you know this.
But I would also obviously say that Candice is with her story on how she came to space. Actually, I really love that.
No, this is right. This is right. So we have really
impressive ways to find our paths to this specific topic.
Yeah.
So
well,
then
people always talk about.
No, please, Candice.
Okay, no, I was just going to say people always talk about innovation and they talk about invention, but they don't always talk about inspiration. And so I think many times we need to go back to what will really inspire people.
Yes.
And I always like to quote Paul Éluard, the French surrealist poet, who said, "Le poète n'est pas celui qui est inspiré, mais celui qui inspire." The poet is not he who is inspired, but he who inspires.
Yes, that's true. Very nice words to finish that category and jump to our next, which is the category of Galileo and EGNOS. If you haven't noticed so far, Galileo is much more than the navigation app on your phone to bring you home for Christmas. Galileo and EGNOS are on the market, ready to use now for quite some time. But new services have been developed, most recently the high accuracy service. Improvements on the existing system stands in the center of attention here. Let's have a look what our winners have come up with.
Hello, good afternoon everybody. I'm Luis Arnaiz, Managing Director of Tetrabase. We are an engineering company based in Madrid, Spain. The team behind our solution is composed of 3 engineers, Eduardo Ceballos, Igina Utelitano, and myself. We have vast experience in Galileo and NATO military systems. Our project makes use of the Galileo PRS service. PRS, or Public Regulated Service, is considered to be the diamond service of Galileo. The reason for this is that it offers continuity of service in times of crisis using signal encryption. The problem that we see is that PRS receivers currently in the market need to host heavy and costly equipment. This is because they are inefficient in terms of PRS asset handling. As a consequence, PRS receivers are complex and the price is very high. Our solution tries to polish this diamond service of Galileo. Still keeping the robustness of this encrypted premium service will make PRS receivers simpler. We propose a disruptive design optimizing the way PRS assets are handled. This fact will make PRS receivers more accessible as the cost of the PRS receivers will be drastically reduced. Therefore, PRS users communities would afford more PRS receivers with the same budget. As PRS is available to authorized users only, our solution has a clear and well-defined niche market, which encompasses different governmental users, such as fire brigades, health services, police, border control, Coast Guard, humanitarian aid, the army, etc. PRS has a unique and unchallenged potential and our innovative solution opens the door to multi-million euro business in Europe. To conclude with the next steps, we are aware that due to economic and financial capacity, as a small company, we need to offer our solution to big integrator companies with whom we are already validating the product. We need to increase networking activities and establish agreements with those integrator companies, such as Thales, Leonardo, GMB, or Indra, to include our solution in their product portfolio. We need to get funding from investors to build a prototype. Finally, I would like to highlight that to be successful in all these future steps, we count on ASO and Madrid+D that have already done a great job supporting us throughout the whole Galileo Masters competition. Thank you all for your attention.
Hello, I am Mattias Luha from GratWorks. After COP26, many smart people claim that climate change has already happened because we rely on unrealistic hope of future technologies for the climate tipping points that we have not yet passed. And GratWorks hopes to stand out here by avoiding just 1/10 of those big landscape fires. We can set back the global greenhouse gas emissions by 1%. And we can do that by early fire detection and helping firefighters to understand where the fire is and where it will spread. We combine machine vision, drones and GSM connectivity to detect the location of the fire without any human input and display it on the map while the drone is still on air. We can then stream this fire location data instantly over mobile networks to where it actually matters, to the central control room. Our technology pays for itself. Extinguishing a small fire of few hectares costs 20,000 to 30,000 euros per day. So just by avoiding 2 days of firefighting would pay for 3 drones. And we can scale quickly because due to data breach concerns, the Western countries are banning the market leader, Chinese DJI, from the governmental sector. So we have launched our seed round to fill this market gap and grab the market with 100,000 potential customers in the Western countries alone. And the good news is that the same hardware and server setup allows us also to sell to police, search and rescue, border patrols, as well as aerial mapping and security companies. So here in the image, you see our drones already operating in the Lithuanian-Belarusian border with our drone nest and precision landing system. It's fully autonomous. There is no pilot in the loop. And we have already closed the first orders and will soon be able to cover the running costs from the sales profit. So with our awesome team, GratWorks is here to knock off 1% from the global greenhouse gas emissions. And think what you will say to your children while the climate disaster unrolls in the future. You can make a difference here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mikko Kataja, co-founder and CEO of Arctic Positioning Systems, the developers of the world's smallest solar-powered GPS tracker. Now, 2 years ago, our team was looking for a GNSS receiver device that would be light enough for a small satellite to carry and robust enough to survive in a harsh environment, only using solar power as an energy source. And we did not find one in the market. And this is why we created our own. And turns out the same requirements we have for GNSS trackers are also shared by many other businesses and use cases. Traditional GNSS trackers on the market are large in size, and they also have running GSM network fees, which increases the cost of operating them over their lifetimes. In addition, the existing trackers often have manually rechargeable batteries, which require maintenance and replacement. And when we talk about industrial or research organizations using these trackers at the large scale, we multiply these costs and all the hassle with hundreds or thousands of GPS tracking units. To tackle the usability and cost restrictions of existing trackers in industrial research use, we have designed our trackers for low maintenance, ease of use, low lifetime costs. And in addition, the small size of our tracker enables use cases that are completely novel. So it's easy to attach to even the smallest of devices or equipment. The APS tracker outperforms competing solutions in 4 key aspects. Firstly, it's the smallest solar-powered GPS tracker on the market. It's light enough for completely novel tasks. It has up to 4 times less network fees as it operates on the LoRaWAN IoT network. And finally, it has intelligent energy harvesting with solar panels, which results in no servicing required for the device. And how's all this possible? Well, the recent developments in electronic components technology, as well as our careful integrated design of the device, have made the miniaturization of the device and the energy independence feasible. We're aware that the satellite location tracking market has plenty of existing uses and solutions. So we see that the market is very large and also a growing market. And there we see an opportunity to enter with an improved solution, focusing on working with customers where our solution fits best. And here are some of the examples. Firstly, drone tracking in research, construction site asset tracking, and tracking of ocean bios. We have already launched our product publicly and the brand, secured our first customers, and filed a patent to protect our intellectual property. We have also piqued the interest of several venture capital companies and are now looking for new ways to expand our horizons. Thank you for the attention, and feel free to reach out to us with any questions.
Probably all of us have used the location feature of our smartphones to locate ourselves, to navigate on foot, by bike, or even by car, and for many other applications. The outcome of smartphone positioning is sometimes disastrous, especially when you're in urban areas with high-rise buildings. Number of smartphone users worldwide has passed 6,000 billion. That's more than 80% of the world's population. There are more than 2 million apps in Google Play and 1.8 million in Apple Store. More than 70% of these apps require location-based services, or LBS. And for these apps, positioning accuracy is critical. We at GeoSmartphone Solutions achieve positioning accuracy of below 1 meter by implementing the GASP algorithm, that is, the GNSS-assisted smartphone precise positioning. What GASP does is that the raw GNSS data collected by smartphone sensors are corrected for satellite orbit and clock errors, as well as troposphere and ionosphere corrections. The effects, such as multipath, cycle slips, and loss of log, are detected and removed by deep learning and AI techniques. In this process, Galileo plays a great role to achieve decimeter level accuracy. Our motto at GeoSPS is implementing smart solutions to make the world a better place to live. We're looking forward to collaborate with you. Thank you.
Small satellites market has been growing exponentially for a decade now, so it is an optimal time to innovate from its major technology, expanding its capabilities. Our solution, Adagio, consists of the usage of a series of Galileo receivers in each of the faces of the satellite. This allows not only to acquire information about its orbit and velocity, as is currently done using GNSS receivers, but also to be able to compute its attitude by analyzing which specific phase is receiving the signal of each Galileo satellite, whose orbits are known. This data is important because it allows the system to point to the desired location at the right moment, which can be a specific target on the ground for Earth observation missions or the Sun if it is necessary to optimize energy production, for example. The main strengths of our proposals are its reliability, cost, and performance. Adagio achieves these advantages over its competitors because it is based on the widely proven Galileo system, and it eliminates the need to implement multiple different sensors. These facts allows not only to reduce the economic and development time cost of the missions, but as all the receivers are placed on the external surface of the satellite, more internal volume is available to be destined to the payload or other subsystems. Last but not least, traditional sensors may not be able to provide due to different factors, such as, for example, eclipses or the spatial characteristics of the magnetic field at the poles. But thanks to the orbital distribution of Galileo satellites, Adagio is able to function uninterruptedly along the full orbit of the satellite. We are currently beginning the development of the technology, and we are looking for investment to fulfill our timeline of events. The next steps on our roadmap are an on-orbit prototype demonstration in a small satellite in 2023, which will last until 2025, when we will use the gained experience to develop the final product, which will be commercially presented and introduced to the market in 2027. On my behalf and my team's, thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentations. Let's jump right into our panel discussion here, and I would like to address the first question to Martina. All of the solutions that we just heard are using Galileo or EGNOS in a way. Which of the solutions uses its advantages in the best way, you would say, Martina?
I'm not at all an expert in Galileo EGNOS, so this is honestly a question I would not like to reply to simply because I'm not I'm not familiar with the details of the program. Just a quick comment. Of course, the project concerning the Arctic positional system attracted my attention for two reasons. We had just 3 weeks ago the second Cassini hackathon, and the challenge was connecting the Arctic. We received really extremely interesting proposals, and it was a coincidence which was not planned. Shortly before this event, the European Commission published its new EU Arctic strategy. It is a region of extreme importance for many reasons, of course, geopolitical, but also economically, environmentally. And of course, what was very nice to see, and we linked, of course, with the responsible colleagues, that we could really showcase with the applications developed during this event that, again, space is able to contribute to the solution of global problems. But again, I'm sorry, I would not be able to answer your question, your first question.
No worries, Martina. Let's see if Candace can answer on that one. Which of the cases can offer an added value?
Yes. I don't think we've cracked the nut yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Galileo GNSS program is fantastic. But, just as when we started Copernicus, people were finding out what they could do and coming up with solutions. But it kind of took a little while. And, my dad also used to say that because when he launched the first satellites, he said that people asked him, they said, Johnny, well, what are we going to do with these satellites? And then he always responded, human ingenuity has always found new applications and continues to do so. And so my feeling is that we've started, and that the companies that presented today, are giving it their best go. But I think we're really literally just, scratching the surface, and that it will take a little while to be able to understand and to really put the whole power of this system. One of the things that I am thinking about is the whole migration that we are experiencing. And so, migratory patterns, what does this do, et cetera, that I think this could be very, very good with. So my feeling is that we're just at the beginning, and I think we have to accept that and know that some really great things are going to happen, but they're not quite there yet.
Yes, and definitely there are new services coming up as well. So we are at the start, as you said, Candice. Amanda, was there a solution there that that you liked the most?
I think probably the most powerful slide that I came across was from Craftworks, when they were talking about the cost of their service compared to what exists already in the market. If I was looking for a solution in terms of these drones and the kind of applications that they're focused on, I thought this was a really powerful slide. To be able to compare, okay, this is what happens right now, and if you consider our service, it's only going to cost you 2 days of what you would pay already. I thought this was a really nice comparison. I think that the Arctic positioning, the one thing that I was maybe I missed it in the presentation, but I've never been to the Arctic right up north, but I think that it's rather dark for a good chunk of the year. And although they said that it would be useful for novel tasking, it didn't say how long the device actually lasts when you're in complete darkness. And obviously for a solar powered device, this would be something I would ask. But I totally agree with Candice. I think the thing with space technology is people don't know what they don't know until they know they don't know it. And it's only until we realize, once we get the machines up there and they're actually really pumping down data, that all of these things will start to come. And we're seeing that very much with Copernicus data streams. And so this is one of the big obstacles that we have in our work, is we're obviously trying to ensure that there's customer engagement, but you can't close a business case until somebody puts money on the table, and that's only when you can validate the business case for sure. So I still think it's a very early stage, but I think as these systems come online, there will be more and more opportunities for services and basically trying to add value to people's lives. I think this is the key thing. I think what I've seen with these pitches is that they focus on the how. So they say, okay, we're going to use AI, we're going to use this, we're going to use that, machine learning. That's fine. When I switch on my car in the morning, I just want it to go. I don't really care what happens with the engine. And I think that a powerful strapline for a lot of these companies would be, what is their why? What is their added value? What why should I care as a consumer? And I don't care if they're using artificial intelligence, machine learning, or whatever. Tell me why I should pay attention to them, and that should be their strapline.
So it really goes down to why do we need it?
Yeah, what's in it for me? If I,
why do we need it? But but you know, what value add am I bringing? How am I going to, you know, make a change and an impact? And one thing, you know, also, Andrea, that, you know, Amanda, that kind of got me thinking is, you know, when we started the GSM, you know, mobile communications, you know, SMS was an afterthought. And, you know, it wasn't until everybody was, you know, using the mobile phone that then people realized, my goodness gracious, you know, text messaging, SMS, you know, this is a real money maker. So, you know, it just takes a little while.
Yes.
And also to add, I would say that, you know, even the psychology of people are changing. So we have a generation of people now that don't know life without the internet. So it means that there's a certain trust in distributed systems over centralized systems that we didn't have 20 years ago. And there's a certain trust in the crowd that we didn't have 20 years ago. And so all of this, I see that this is going to be all linked in and connected as we move forward.
Yeah, it will definitely, space will definitely change our future in many ways, I would say. So let's see how it will change our next category. And I would like to jump to green technology and sustainability market. We all heard a lot about the SDGs and the goal to become greener. But did you know that a study from the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs from 2018 shows that almost 40% of the 169 SDG targets directly benefit from using EGNOS and Copernicus services? The impact of space is huge, and I'm curious to learn how our next winners will contribute to become more sustainable or greener by quantifying the concept of sustainability.
The problem we're addressing is an urgent one. Within 2 years, 300,000 hectares of forest have fallen victim to the consequences of climate change. And this is only within Germany. This trend sadly also holds true for the wider EU, where tree mortality has doubled over the past 3 decades. Forest owners thankfully know what to do to turn a forest such as the one on the left into a climate-resilient mixed forest, like the one on the right. But the forest management measures, such as planting more diverse tree species, are quite expensive and cannot be covered through the sale of timber alone. That's why we at PINA want to give forest owners access to the voluntary carbon market and help them open up a new income stream through the sale of carbon credits to ultimately make their forests future-proof. We bring together both sides of the market, forest owners and carbon credit buyers. While forest owners provide additional carbon storage, buyers can invest in effective climate action through the purchase of carbon credits. We developed a 3-tiered approach to identify forests that are most at risk and therefore also most at need to become a carbon project. First, we identify potentially high-risk areas using Copernicus services and more core satellite data. In a second step, we move on to more detailed hotspot analysis with more high-resolution satellite data. Where we're different from other projects mapping forest risks is that we don't only quantify the status quo, but use forest simulation to be able to predict the future risk of the forest due to climate change. Once we've correctly identified a high-risk forest area, we contact the forest owner to start a carbon project easily through our web platform. We joined forces last year and are on a mission to become the leading certifier for forest carbon projects in Europe. We've developed an MVP of our forest risk model and carbon stocks quantification and are piloting our approach on over 1,000 hectares in Germany right now. We're looking to scale our solution to more forest owners next year and are therefore planning a pre-seed funding round within the next months. If you're interested in joining our mission to quantify and reward sustainable forestry, let me know.
Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. Let me get right to the point. We have created net carbon for a reason. fighting against climate change by increasing carbon sequestration. As we all know, today, the temperature of the Earth will reach plus 2 degrees by the end of the century, due to human activities. But there is still hope. Indeed, today, 1/3 of the CO2 in the atmosphere is already recovered by plant and soil through photosynthesis. So, imagine what could be achieved by increasing just a bit the carbon sequestration. Agriculture represents almost 40% of all the European land. So, if we have to act somewhere, it's here. But concretely, how does net carbon work?
Net carbon offers a free solution for farmers to value sequestered CO2 on their plot. Net carbon mission is to calculate the CO2 stored by a farmer and to certify the CO2. To do this, we are using a cutting-edge fusion of satellite data, Sentinel-2 and PlanetScope, and state-of-the-art algorithm. Then, we sell the sequestered CO2 to companies wishing to offset their emission and thus contribute to achieving carbon neutrality. Today, 1 ton of CO2 is sold for around 30 euros. Finally, net carbon returns the money to farmers in order to guarantee them an additional source of income and allow the development of a more sustainable agriculture.
For this, net carbon relies on a team with different profiles and complementary skills. First of all, we have Jean-Baptiste. Jean-Baptiste acts as a sponsor for the project in order to make net carbon known to his network of farmers. But he also acts as a user to help us design a user-oriented solution. Adrien is responsible for answering the growth of net carbon and selling the CO2 to companies. Finally, myself, I will use my expertise in satellite data and data processing in order to design and improve the net carbon solution. The whole team is working toward a common goal: deliver our first product within 6 months and offset 1 million tons of CO2 within 3 years. If you want more information about net carbon, feel free to contact us. Net carbon, see the carbon, change the climate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Sander. I'm Carbel's founder and CEO, and I've spent the last 12 years working in the coffee sector. Today, I want to talk to you about how coffee can provide a decent standard of living for all humans in the supply chain while remaining within our planetary boundaries. Here on the left, we see a typical industrial farm from Brazil. In the coffee sector, we like to say that these farmers are very efficient because they produce up to 3,000 kilograms per hectare at a very low cost to the buyer. And on the right, we see coffee agroforestry, which is the way in which small-scale farmers in countries like Ethiopia grow their coffee, under the shade of the forest canopy and without the use of any chemical fertilizers. We often say that these farmers are inefficient because they harvest just 300 or 500 kilograms per hectare. However, 1 hectare of coffee agroforestry like this stores the same amount of carbon as is emitted by more than 1,000 transatlantic flights. If we would put a monetary value on that, then suddenly coffee agroforestry becomes very efficient. Sadly, the farmers are not yet being rewarded for the services they provide to the ecosystem. And as a result, almost half of them live below the poverty line. Almost a quarter even in extreme poverty, which is less than $1 a day. Interestingly, at the same time, we've learned that of the 10 largest coffee brands, 6 have now committed to reduce their impact on the climate. And from the interviews that we conducted with 30 of these companies, we learned that they currently feel they lack the tools to reduce their impact on the climate in a way that also benefits the farmers who grow their coffee. Carbel helps coffee brands reduce their impact on the climate by rewarding farmers for storing carbon in a measurable, scalable, and cost-effective way. In order for our model to be measurable, scalable, and cost-effective, we use remote sensing as our main data source. Data from Copernicus, Planet, and NASA's JEDI are fed into a machine learning algorithm, which can accurately estimate the amount of carbon stored by individual farmers. The farmers who protect or even increase their carbon storage receive results-based payments. And as the funders of these payments, the coffee brands who buy their coffee can include the resulting emission reductions in their greenhouse gas reporting. We're planning the first pilot of this approach in the first quarter next year, and there's still plenty of hurdles to take. However, we like to say, what if we can pull it off? What if we can show that coffee can provide a decent standard of living for all people in the supply chain while remaining within our planetary boundaries? That is something we're super excited about, and we're willing to work hard for that. We hope you feel the same. Thank you.
What is the table made of? You had your breakfast at this morning. Most likely it's made of wood. But do you know where the tree from which your kitchen table was cut grew? Do you know in which country the tree stood? Or even on which continent? Probably not. And that's not surprising, because wood is an intensively traded raw material. And the demand for timber is increasing and increasing. And this is actually a good thing, because this renewable and climate positive resource is the raw material of our future. But where there's a lot of wood, there's also a lot of room for corruption and illegal business. Every third tree in this world is felled illegally and traded illegally. There is no consideration of climate impact, human rights, or protection of biodiversity of plants and animals. Forest owners and firms are trying to find ways to cope with tracing of traded timber materials in the complexity of global supply chains. And legal systems which require an accurate documentation are already in place, penalizing those who already try to manage. The problem is, all of them are lacking tools to establish truly transparent supply chains due to the complexity of the timber market. And this opens up vast possibilities of fraudulent behavior. Ultimately, this leads to violation of international law and the destruction of the world's most valuable ecosystems. But how would it be manageable to connect the existing demand of fraud-proof documentation with the goal of letting forests thrive?
So here's the good news. We are the missing link in this incomplete chain of bringing forest ecosystem-related SDGs into global practice. We developed the technology to give each single harvested tree an identity, so that logs can be recorded and traced in an automated way all the way back to the exact origin of growth. So how do we do that? We developed an IoT-based tamper-proof in-situ timber tracing system, fully scalable and made for the industry. A satellite monitoring system for remote monitoring of single tree removals, and an automated blockchain-secured documentation platform. And finally, you will know if your kitchen table, your flooring, or your housing are coming from truly legal and sustainable sources. We are a team of industry insiders, data scientists and developers, enthusiastic about changing a global market for the better. So what do we need to further go on with our mission? We need funding. We need mentors with deep supply chain and marketing expertise, and we need techies to gather speed and let sustainable forestry thrive on a global scale. Thank you for your attention. This is Beetle Fortech. Now let's go to work.
Let's go.
Hi, I'm Kien. I'm a researcher trying to find out how to realize energy supply in the future. This means that I'm studying how much battery storage or power grids do we need to phase out coal and to prevent both a blackout in Europe and the destruction of the environment. So in short, my research tells you in which technology to invest to successfully accomplish the transformation of the energy system in a sustainable way. And just to give you a number about the challenge we are right now facing, there are about 25 billion euros to be invested until 2050. Okay, so far about my professional life, where I am assessing investments into energy infrastructures. But to be honest, in my private life, I'm still learning how to do investments. And therefore, it is probably interesting that I'm German, because the biggest fear of a German in these times of low interest rates is inflation. And sure, what are you doing with your money on your private bank account? Many people would tell you start investing into exchange-traded funds. And to decrease the risk, you should invest broadly, for example, in worldwide markets. For me, this sounds plausible, but it's also a challenge because if I want to do this sustainably, I need to further analyze the carbon footprint of any company worldwide. Professional financial analysts need indicators for serving as a basis for sustainable finance. and markets for such indicators are growing tremendously. But this is also the problem we are trying to address with our business idea, because today there are no standards for calculating such indicators. Thus, a lot of greenwashing is going on. And I can understand this because as an energy systems analyst, I know how complicated it is to produce comprehensive indicators expressing the carbon footprint of any energy consumer in the world. And this is because we are often lacking consistent and up-to-date databases of renewable power generation. But such data could be available. It's only lacking the right processing for adding value to our automated indicator calculations. You may already know I'm talking about Copernicus data, which can allow us generating georeferenced and up-to-date databases of decentral energy infrastructures. So to conclude, with our business idea, we want to provide financial investors with long-term indicators to assess the sustainability of companies worldwide. As access to green energy is frankly the key for reaching climate targets, and due to our expertise in energy systems analysis, we would focus first on energy-related indicators. For further developing our business idea, our next step is to conduct interviews with potential customers. This is Niklas, our networker, Manuel, our modeling and supercomputing expert, Christoph, who knows everything about power markets, Tobias, who did his PhD on sustainability assessment of energy scenarios, and myself.
Thank you very much to our winners. Martina, space is the new green. Do investment funds and venture capitalists care about green transformation? And has the green priority been included in the objectives of the Cassini initiative?
I think this is best position to answer, but from my humble experience, I would clearly say yes. Green, let me say it simply, becomes an area to invest in. Yes, this in my view is clear, and of course, I mean everything what we are doing, particularly with Copernicus, in a way it is directed to greener environmental protection. So I would say the Green Deal is really at our heart, and this is why also internally we undertake quite some efforts to showcase, to raise awareness in other services that with the help of Galileo, with the help of Copernicus, you can even better, I would say, even in some cases, you can only tackle problems with the use of these data. So this is why I think all the projects, I must say, in this round, for me, they stay all a bit abstract. I know that it is a new niche in the new niche market, the trade of carbon certificates and carbon credits. I think this is perhaps an area very promising, but at the same time, for me, at the moment, it stays what we had discussed previously also, at a very early stage, and it is a bit abstract. So I think for the startup who are working particularly in this field, I would give the advice to invest a lot of thinking how you can really bring your idea to the future customers. How can you convince them? How can you showcase that with this kind of scheme, there are long-term benefits for them? This, I think, is for me the biggest hurdle so far. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is the Cassini initiative focusing on green tech as well?
As I said, indirectly, yes, of course. I mean, it is not with the subjects, with the themes we are tackling in specific initiatives like the hackathon and next year with the Cassini Prizes. But I would say dealing as an entrepreneur with space data means for me nearly every time dealing with green. Yeah, and having the environmental sustainability, resource reduction in mind. Yes.
Mhm. Well, thank you, Martina. Then I would give the first question also to Candace, obviously. Do investment funds and venture capitalists care about green transformation, Candace?
Very much so. So actually, Martina, contrary to what you believe, I actually think this is a quite mature market.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So what we are seeing across the board in stock markets is the adherence of companies to the SDGs and to what we call the ESG and the environmental, social, and governance. And if those corporations are not adhering to them, then they will be punished on the stock market. And there are actually a number of companies that are now coming to the fore, who are publishing reports, so ESG reports on almost all publicly listed companies, particularly in the United States, but it's happening now in Europe as well. And so a couple of things that the satellite data really helps is identifying polluters. So you have the what is it? I think the blame and shame, what they call, or name and shame. It's not something I like to do, but people are doing it. They're saying, look at the ESG report of this company. It's terrible. We are not going to invest. A second thing is that you can only improve something if you can measure it. And so here again, all of the Copernicus data is giving us, and actually the Galileo too, but the Copernicus data is giving us real data that we can use to be able to measure improvement, degradation, etc. There are two other factors that I'd like to just talk about. So we had spoken about it earlier, but it's actually much more relevant here. And that is, of course, the risk. So if corporations are not doing what they should be doing concerning sustainability and the Green Deal, etc., then they are risking the whole well-being of their company, because they will not get contracts from other corporations who care about this. They will not get contracts from governments. So it's a real risk. And then one thing that was not mentioned by really any of them, but I think that the people who are doing the ETFs, so the exchange traded funds, that they should also consider insurance, because analyzing the carbon footprint here again is helping insurers, giving those numbers to the insurers, because insurers have huge markets and research divisions, to look at all of this data. This is what insurers do. You've heard about actuaries and things like this. So this is very important. So yes, I believe that there's a huge market to this. I also very much liked what a number of companies were doing, which was basically combining what they are doing with a kind of public relations advertising element. And one of my friends is working with a subsidiary of J. Walter Thompson. And, he told me he said, Candice, all of my companies are coming to me and saying, what can I do to show that I am sustainable? And so indeed, I was saying, well, use satellite data. So, and I think I had, actually I had kind of maybe two favorites in this one. I thought that the coffee people and the amount of carbon storage and the fact that you were being rewarded, I thought this was quite interesting.
Okay.
And that it was a very kind of well thought through system and process and product. The other one that I did like was the ETF. This is going to be huge. It really is. And concerning our friends who are doing the wood, I actually did invest in a company 16 years ago that was tracking the illegal, trade and all of this. At that time, we didn't have blockchain. We didn't have, really IoT. And so it was a very, very difficult thing to do. I believe that it still is, because you're working not only with one government, but you're working with a variety of governments, a number of governments, and this is always very difficult. So I would put my bets on our coffee planetary boundaries company and our ETFs.
Thank you very much, Candice. Amanda, how do you feel about the solutions that you heard?
Yeah, I liked them. I think, like Candice, I like the coffee one. There's a number of activities that we have in the InCubed pipeline that run along these lines, including the financial indicators one. I think that was what was nice about the coffee pitch, was that they were talking about kind of a reimbursement, and I think, as we'd said in the previous session, it's all about where are you adding value? What is your unique selling point? What is your differentiator? The other thing as well, I also had this in my notes about that none of them had mentioned insurance as a potential target, as Candice said. Not just insurance, but also the reinsurance market as well is something that our companies in our pipeline really do focus on, and it's a big market.
So there are definitely more things to consider for our winners here.
Yeah.
Yes, I would then jump to our next category, which is also our last, and it's focusing on transport and UAV. So next to the trend of digitalization in the transport sector, another major challenge we are facing right now is connectivity. Especially connectivity in remote areas by night, in buildings or underground, are issues our winners are addressing with their solutions now. Let's see what they have come up with, and in terms of digitalization and obviously also connecting in the transport sector.
Good afternoon. My name is Christian Fortiger. I'm co-founder of Truckscreenia. We are an Italian, basically South Tyrolian-based startup company in the field of smart mobility. Our mission and vision is to become outdoor advertisement smarter and more sustainable. Clearly, get the right road to the right people with the right message. Millions of people spend their daily lives stuck in traffic. We think this accounts for a massive waste of targeting opportunities. Basically, advertisers can't reach out to their potential customers. Truckscreenia wanted therefore to change this. By exploring the galaxy of the world of digital out of home, we discovered a planet, which is the world of transit out of home. And considering that this accounts by 2030 for a market of basically 21 billion euro and US dollars, we find this is absolutely the place to settle. Our solution is to make use of proprietary advanced technology systems in a smart combination between satellite navigation, AI, and clearly georeferencing systems. Therefore, we think that outdoor advertisement becomes more targetable and adaptable for real-time needs. Clearly, we also want fully to comply with the laws of the countries where we'll be circulating with our billboards. And we don't actually use only non-backlit e-paper technology displays. And all together with other reasons, we think that this system is fully compliant with road traffic regulations. Accurate geolocation is key to us. Therefore, Galileo plays an enormous importance, both in terms of performance and also precision, compared with other competitors. Our revenue model is based on giving all these carriers fees that will earn them extra money without needing to change even a single iota in terms of their daily operations or their ordinary course of business. What we have achieved so far makes us extremely proud, because we have always thought that the synergies between the operators in the logistics and the advertisement need to speak more and even explore strategic opportunities. This has won us the support financially and commercially in terms of a very strong partnership of one of Europe's most important carrier, which is Vercam Group. Our goal in the new term is twofold. We want to build new partnerships and grow across Europe, expanding our activities, both in the advertisement and data business, beginning with the DACH area. And second, we want to come along with an industrialization process for a fully go-to-market scale. Therefore, we are happy to find another investor. But still, R&D is our truest DNA. This is what Troxfenia is basically made of, and we are extremely grateful to Galileo Masters Edition for the fantastic opportunity we have been provided with. We feel grateful and we feel strength in our ambition and determination. My name is Christian Fortschricker. I thank you for the attention and feel free to contact Troxfenia on the planet and maybe you settle with us on it, transit out of home. Thank you very much.
Hello everybody. My name is Andrei Burdic and it's a great honor for me to present here today our proposal for the metro-assisted localization and orientation platform, the Galileo Prize winner of Romania. Our idea is to integrate the Galileo system with Bluetooth mesh network technology. The purpose is to make the GNSS position in maps more advantageous, available in metro systems, and to create an application or a platform for a better orientation in underground transportation that can be applicable in the indoor positioning field. The key features of our idea consist in using the Bluetooth mesh network of pseudolized localization that will be used by the people who own smartphones with a certain chipset. The user will enjoy a friendly interface and an easy-to-use application. As objectives, we want to improve the level of safety and accessibility for tourists and citizens in the underground environment. And as an extra, we want to provide the possibility to be localized by first responders in the case of emergency situations, such as fire, earthquake, or even terrorist attacks. Regarding the financing and future steps, the cost of the solution for one subway station is estimated at 1,800 euros for the hardware equipment and 3,500 euros for the software solution. The cost of the hardware can be significantly lowered at 200 euros per subway station if the customer has already in its network infrastructure the routers and access points. We estimated that through the MALO application, the number of tourists and citizens using the metro will increase. As future steps, we want to test our solution in one metro station before going for a full implementation that will consist of all metro stations and tunnels of the subway system, the mobile application development, and the engagement of the users through dissemination activities. For this, we estimated that around 250,000 euros would be a suitable budget, and support from relevant stakeholders will also be required. Thank you very much for your attention, and for any question or collaboration, feel free to contact us.
Well, hello there. I would like to make a presentation on the GNSS and SATCOM implementation for the multipurpose lightweight UAV with the radar. As well known, the airborne radars provide serious advantages in the range and ability of the target detection. These radars on the airborne vehicles can be quite usefully used for the sea vessel detection on the busy roads, migration detection, ice detection on the shipping routes, UAV detection, etc. Normally, airborne radars are heavy, large, expensive, and they do require large manned or unmanned vehicles, the operation costs of which are really high. Therefore, we suggest integration of the large antenna of the radar into the wing of compared to the small UAV. So the weight of that UAV should be in the range of 20 to 25 kilos. In this arrangement, radar scanning is ensured by changing the heading, or in other words, the yaw of the UAV itself. And we do have the patent for that idea. The low-cost marine radars are supposed to be used for that purpose. That will considerably decrease the cost of the equipment, operations, risk of human lives, and so on. Normal missions of such UAVs shall be far beyond the range of sight. Due to a low data rate required for radar information, it can be transmitted in close to real-time mode via the satellite communication networks. That will ensure the unlimited range of operations of those vehicles and therefore unlimited range of detection using the radars. Basic functionality of the UAV in the automatic flight mode is based on the implementation of the GNSS systems. Besides that, two GNSS receivers are mounted at the tips of the wings of the aircraft for determination of pitch of the vehicle and thus the direction of scanning, which is critical for our mission. System is underused at the moment, and our further plan is to finish the development, have the business incubation and commercialization of the product. Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Stefan Christozov from Unmanned Systems Bulgaria. In our company, we develop and deploy air traffic management solutions for drone operations, or as it is commonly known in Europe, USpace. Meet John, who in the current example is a farmer, but John can be pretty much any number of things. Recently, he acquired a drone for his professional needs at the company. Unfortunately for him, he overflew a restricted site, and right now he's into a lot of trouble with the authorities. In order to avoid such confusion in the future, he would be asked to install a remote identification device, or as we call it, DroneID. Basically, it receives GNSS data. It wraps it up with a static data of John's registration number or drone serial number, beams it out through a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth radio, or through the onboard mobile network operator's modem. All this information then can be received on any consumer device, being a tablet or a smartphone. Basically, what we do is we connect John with the authorities via our digital system, and whenever there is a flight intent, he can communicate it right away and receive an approval. We relieve John of a very heavy administrative burden. This paradigm shift to drone operations rendered some of the traditional stakeholders and some of the traditional services like ATM ill-prepared. We enter with the necessary digitalization and agility. Currently, in Bulgaria, we have secured the support of Bulatsa to jointly roll out USpace, and with the Air Force Academy, where we can sandbox the system. The roadmap includes also a final step to certify the product in accordance with the new standardization and legislation documents. And I'm looking forward to your comments and your questions. Thank you guys for your time.
Hello everyone, my name is Evangelos Mitsakis and I'm the CEO of Deep Traffic. I will present to you our product, Deep Traffic 101. The team of the company, being its most valuable asset, is comprised by 8 highly skilled and experienced technical and business-related individuals. The problems that we address are very easily understood. They're called traffic congestion and road safety, met in cities and highways worldwide. Traffic is nowadays managed by traffic management centers, which face significant challenges, including needs for highly skilled personnel and high costs for equipment, while they fail to effectively utilize real-time data. In parallel, we see a major opportunity arising from the upcoming wave of connected and automated mobility, but also from the fact that these new technologies are not yet coupled with and exploited for operational traffic management. The target market of ours is that of urban and highway traffic management centers and intelligent transportation systems, estimated at approximately 32 billion euros globally. The value proposition of deep traffic is the future-proof dynamic traffic management, and we see ourselves providing value in 4 ways. First, by adding operational automation and intelligence to existing systems. Second, by exploiting connected and automated vehicles and mobility systems for traffic management. Third, by supporting the traffic management as a service paradigm, by exploiting multiple sources of data and connected vehicles data, and of course, by exploiting advanced positioning technologies. Our product, titled Deep Traffic 101, is comprised of 4 main modules, which provide an end-to-end solution: a scenario management module, a dashboard, a CATS message broker, and a mobile application for drivers and vehicles. Based on data-driven analysis, Deep Traffic 101 provides significant improvements in major traffic performance, safety, and environment-related key performance indicators, as well as significant cost savings for the operators of traffic management centers. Finally, we abide to 3 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations related to technologies, smart cities, and climate change. Our product, Deep Traffic 101, is fully operational, currently at TRL level 8. It has been extensively tested in 4 large-scale pilot projects, and it is operationally deployed at our first commercial customer as we speak today. We also pay attention to business development and acceleration programs, and we have successfully participated in a series of such programs, including the Galileo Masters, the EAT KIC Urban Mobility Acceleration Program, as well as support programs by large technology companies. Concerning our next steps, our objectives are to further approach new potential clients, to execute further marketing, international sales and promotional activities, and also to increase the number of full-time personnel for our company. Therefore, we estimate that we need approximately 500,000 euros during 2022, which we expect to receive through a VC fund investment round in order to reach our projections and targets, which include over 60 customers and more than 20 million euros annual sales in 4 years from today. Thank you very much.
Thanks to our winners for the presentation under the framework of transport and UAV. I would like to go to Amanda for the first question and see what recommendations she has for our winners.
Yeah, no, I think all of them were very different, and I think probably my favorite, if I could pick one, would be deep traffic. I liked how they structured the information. It was very clear. It looks like, I mean, from an InCube point of view, I mean, we're an Earth observation, so it's not exactly the same, but they're already at technology readiness 8, and they look like they don't need our type of help. So that's always good. And one thing I would ask about the truck screenier pitch is it's talking about advertising, and so what do they bring to the table that other companies with the same idea couldn't bring? This unique selling point was I couldn't quite grasp it. So that's what I would say.
Candice, do you have one project that you would personally like to see succeed?
Well, that is difficult. I've been looking at my notes here. I mean, except with with the exception of transcrenia, none of the people really talked about the problem or talked about what they were going to bring. As Amanda said, features tell, benefits sell, and transcrenia definitely did this. And of course, they are targeting the advertising market. And so they're very good in advertising because that's the market that they know. And so they presented themselves well, etc. Yes, deep traffic was good. They did not say, though, at the beginning what problem they were going to solve. They just went right into the system. And so, you're just kind of sitting there going, okay, who is their client? And by the way, that is another problem because they have multiple clients, and that's a very complex sale, and it takes time. They were one of the few to put down how much money they expect to make in 5 years. And I would have, obviously, had as an investor, I would want to go much more into that. So I mean, to be honest, I really did kind of like the transcrenia. I liked the presentation. I liked the idea of the real-time information combined with the smart mobility and the outdoor advertising. So I would go with transcrenia.
Okay, Martina, which would be the project that you would support?
Well, I would, in my view, all startups would need a very dedicated individual advice how to present their project the next time, because I think all ideas are interesting, but yes, they were lacking quite important elements. So in this respect, I would also agree that the Italian one, the presentation, gave a very good insight. The Greek project Deep Traffic, I think I understood that they wanted to develop a tool for traffic management centers, but I think it lacked also more information on really how do they want to approach these centers. In my view, it will be a rather difficult market to enter because I guess these are public authorities. It is certainly a lot. It's certainly a regulated market, or a lot of regulations needs to be taken into account. It is a very interesting project, but it raises a number of questions. Yeah.
This is how it's supposed to be with also, of course, the early stage ideas that we have in the competition. So we've heard a lot now, especially in the transport and UAV, but also in our other sessions that we had. Obviously, my last question for you is, do you see one winner out of all the pitches that you heard today that could become the overall winner of the competition, so of the Galileo Masters and the Copernicus Masters? Was there one solution that you kept in mind throughout all the pitches that you've heard today? I would like to start with Candice, maybe.
Thank you so much. So of course, I have two. But in investment circles, we always talk about the most investable company. And so my most investable company would definitely be SatSense. They had a very viable product. They had a good grasp of who their clients were. They already have clients. They have market traction. So I would definitely go with SatSense. A second, kind of, shall we say, personal favorite would indeed be Vida. I very much like this, this bringing light into dark and finding solutions. So most investable, SatSense, personal favorite, Vida.
Vida. Okay. Thank you, Candice, for this. Martina, who are your two favorites?
I would also definitely say that SatSense was the most coherent project in many aspects. From my personal view, I must say it's difficult. There are quite a number or several which I liked. I always like when a project is focusing on a particular problem, on a particular field. So the coffee project, if I may say so, I found it very interesting. But of course, yes, I mean, from a complete different angle, the project from Galicia, the St. James Path, it is for me perhaps, at least in our challenges, the one which fitted perhaps best or which replied best to our objectives and to the requirement of our challenges. It is an extremely young team. So this is why I would say I hope that they really get the support they need. But then also another domain, the French one, the real-time monitoring for fire workers. So what I wanted to say is that those who really are focusing, who are reducing a big problem to a very concrete application area, to a specific user group, this is, from those the ones I mentioned, yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Martina. Amanda, who are your two?
Yeah, for me, the ones that kind of kept with me were indeed the SatSense one, also Perfect Sense AQ with the pollution monitoring wearable. I think that had some was memorable, and also VIDA. And the nice thing about VIDA is that from their pitch, I don't think that they need Incubed help. They're already on their way, so that's really good to see. But a really nice, varied collection of pitches today.
Thank you very much, ladies. Let's see if your guesses will become a reality later on in the Space Awards. We are going to listen to some more pitches from our challenge winners then. And amongst the challenge and prize winners, we are going to choose the overall winner. So again, it was a great pleasure to have you with me today, with us especially. And I think we actually really learned a lot. And our winners learned a lot on how to properly pitch, how to address a problem, how to focus on a target market. We learned also that the European Union and also ESA would like to focus more on the younger generation and hopefully have some projects supporting the younger generation, especially in space education. And I'm looking forward to see what the future will bring for our winners, but also obviously for the young generation, as I mentioned, and for women in space, since we are here all women and we also do love to support those. So thank you again for taking the time, for being with us today and for your expertise.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for inviting us, and all the best to all of the winners. I always say that everyone is a winner in these competitions. So
that is definitely true. And as you mentioned, Candace, I think it was you that said capital, it's not everything. You need mentoring for the capital. And I think this is what we provided also in this session today with your help. So it was really valuable for all of us to see what you as an investor are focusing on, but also what programs of the European Union and of ESA are focusing on. Thanks again, ladies, and have a nice afternoon. And I hope to see you in the Space Awards later on. For our investors listening, if you want to get in touch with our winners, you'll find all their contact details in our results booklet available as of tomorrow on our website for download. Now, I would like to thank our winners, experts and partners for their contribution and remind all of you again about the Space Awards, starting at 7 p.m., where you'll see if our experts' guests and maybe also your own favorite candidate will become the overall winner of the competitions. Thanks for listening, and I'm looking forward to see you in a bit in a new location and a new outfit.